Well, welcome
Nice.
back. Hello. Welcome to episode 3 of our Masks of Fate campaign. For those of you who are just joining us, we're running through Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. We're doing Masks of Neil Fultep. I'm probably saying that wrong, but that's how I'm going to say it from here and forever. Because Cthulhu words are weird. Thanks, H.P. Lovecraft.
Weird man.
Um,
Weird man.
So, to kick us off, who would like to do a recap of last session? I'm gonna say not Mark because he did it last time.
But is he touching his nose?
I'm currently
Yeah,
eating, so I'm
yeah.
just gonna say I'm out.
Would you believe me if I said I was touching my nose?
Roll a deception check. Yeah. I'll do it. I took notes. Do we want to go over all the lore or do we want to go over the gist? Because there was a good amount of lore.
Just give us the gist of what happened last session.
Oh, right.
You don't have to go in detail with any of the investigating you guys found or anything.
Okay, so session 2. Mailbox. We got a telegram that was dated for the day before from a wonderful close friend of ours that we had not heard from in 5 years, I believe, Mr. Jackson Elias, and info on the Carlisle expedition. And he needed a reliable investigative team to meet him in New York on the 15th of January. So Jackson Elias, is a writer, likes to debunk cults and other fantastical beliefs like that. Wrote The Sons of Death. He believes cults are more predatory. And generally there are different reasons why he knows all of us. But so we all collectively, especially Haket, because in Egypt, the libraries were open on Sunday, went and looked into this expedition. So the expedition tragically disappeared in Africa, but it started off in Egypt, went to Britain, ping-ponged all along there. And we found out that Erica Carlisle went off on an expedition of her own to find out what happened to her brother, to try to save him. The natives were blamed, put on trial, and hung for killing the expedition. And then we all get tickets, or we either drive, or I think I was the only one who had to take a ship over to New York. Elias wants us to meet at the Hotel Chelsea, room 410. I know both. Who was it? Frederick and Mark went to his hotel early, but he was not there. And they didn't snoop around because they were all polite about it. Haket just happened to be on the same ship that dropped off the Erica Carlisle expedition. She asked him about it, and all they know was that it seemed like a very serious effort by the sister. Not so much Haket suspected she might have been putting on a show to get the fortune herself, but the sailor made it seem like, no, this was more of an earnest effort. But who can really say? Then Haket joined up with the boys, and Sebastian used his wealthy connections to maybe set up a meeting with Erica Carlisle in the future. Snooty. And we went to the meeting, and everything went great. We heard a silent gasp in the room. And we opened the door, and hey, our friend is dead. Intestines ripped out. 3 murderers surrounding him with masks and kind of weird sword. No, not daggers, machetes. What are they called? Pengas. African throwing knives. Haket does not get involved. She screams for help. The other guys rush in. Frederick, did you shoot him in the leg? Yes.
Yes.
Frederick got him in the leg. Mark wrestled him down, and so we were able to capture one. The other two got away in a car. Checked out Elias's body. There's a symbol cut into his forehead, but unfortunately, Heket just did not have the memory to recall what that might be, or what the mask might be, or anything really. Shoot, rough rolls that night. And then we got business card, Edward Gavahan, Penhew Foundation. There was a flyer for a Cult of Darkness speech by Professor Anthony Cowles that was happening that day. And a fancy letter to Mr. Carlyle dated the 3rd of March, 1919. That there were, and on the back of one of the cards, there was said there were items he might be interested in. We found a matchbook with a Stumbling Tiger bar, a Harvard letter by Miriam Atwright, and against her better judgment, Heket went with Frederick to the conference. I believe that is all, unless I missed something.
Yeah, that is pretty much where we left off. You guys were able to hear that, from the sounds of it, that the police were on their way, as slow as it may be, because New York. For those of you who did not head off to see if you could still catch the conference that was going on, because it had started at the same time as your meeting was meant to. So you're not entirely sure how long that's going to be going. Is there anything you guys would like to do while you're still in the room?
See if I see his manuscript for what he's working on for his current book.
Go ahead and make a spot hidden check for me.
Oh, did I just pass?
Oh, halloo, hallay. It's a miracle, ladies and gentlemen.
I did just pass. No, I didn't.
Yeah. Nope, shit.
What was it?
I'm a spindle. Is it spindle luck? Or how does pushing your luck work now?
So pushing your luck technically works as a reroll.
We're not doing that then.
So if you actually give me 1 second, I don't seem to have my keeper guide within reach, and I can actually pull up how it works for you. So this is a perfect time to get into a little bit more info on that, I guess.
Because I rolled an 11, but my spot hidden. Oh no, I'm sorry, I did succeed. My spot. I was looking at sleight of hand. My spot hidden. I got a hard success. I rolled under a 22.
Nice.
Okay.
So
that's a good roll.
Okay, so you did succeed.
That's not right. But it is a hard success, yeah.
Okay.
Because it's 1/2 and 1/5, and 1/2 of 25 is not 22.
Nope, that math is
12.
definitely wrong.
I mean, math is all made up anyway.
I mean, technically true. Okay, so you do a little bit of scrounging around and things like that. I'll say, because it was a hard success, you don't necessarily find a manuscript, but it looks like in the struggle, or with what you can kind of tell is everyone kind of digging through what he had, you can kind of tell that the cult guy that you guys found had some of the stuff shoved into his pocket, You can tell they were kind of rummaging through his things.
Hmm.
And you can kind of see it's peeking out from behind the desk that's in the room. It looks like it may have fallen when they were shuffling through stuff. He does have a folder that looks like it's full of like newspaper clippings and things like that.
Okay.
Opening it up, you see that these are all newspaper clippings of the Carlisle expedition. These are all the newspaper clippings of everything you guys looked into. Just so you could refresh yourselves on why he wanted you guys all in New York. But almost like sticky notes or like paper clipped to the front of them, there is just one piece of paper, and you kind of recognize it's Elias's handwriting, and all it says is "still alive?" ?
Interesting. Who does it? Is it obvious who he's talking about is still alive?
Make an intelligence check for me.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you got a big brain.
I mean, it's a success.
It's a regular old.
I rolled a 79,
Ooh,
but I succeed
that's all that matters.
because I got a 89.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, it's an 86, but still higher than 79.
You are 1 point smarter.
You would assume that because it is attached to all of the clippings from the Carlisle expedition, that he might be referring to the man that headed the expedition,
Okay.
Mr. Carlisle.
Mm.
Okay, and I figured that we've pretty much ransacked the room enough, so like checking things out. I'm just staying behind just in case this guy wakes up and Sebastian and I have to put him down again or whatever.
Okay.
So waiting for the police, and then we can figure out what's up.
You can kind of see that the guy is stirring a little bit again after Frederick knocked him out a second time.
That would be
Wait.
He's starting to stir again.
Do you have any questions you want to ask this guy, Sebastian, or should we just keep him down?
I mean, we may as well keep him down to wait with the police.
All right. Well,
He doesn't look like he's like close to waking up, but there is like actual movement. The dude's not just like out cold.
Brain activity. That's good.
I think if I remember right, Frederick and I kind of bound him up a bit. We Sebastian wrapped his wounds a bit with towels and whatnot, but I think we actually physically subdued him.
Yeah,
not
I'm
like he can
sure
go
like
anywhere really, right?
something you guys would have been able to find something to tie him
Yeah.
up a little bit just to restrain him.
And if we didn't, if I'm remembering it wrong, then we want to make sure we do that.
I believe you guys did once you got him in after you
thought we
guys
did.
knocked him out and dragged him inside. I want to say
Okay.
you guys
So
did.
essentially we're just waiting for the police. I don't think we have any other,
Okay.
I think we found everything we could find.
I will jump to Hackett and Frederick real quick then, while you guys wait on the police to actually arrive.
What's taking them so long?
Just a quick note, because I'm a nerd. The third degree hasn't been outlawed yet, so police are still legally allowed to, or lightly legally allowed to beat people for interrogations in 1925.
Yeah, it is the 20s.
Noted.
Oof.
I mean, I figured as much, but noted.
27 is when the I think 27 or 37 is when it was outlawed by Supreme Court.
Good to know. Thank you. Okay, Hackett and Frederick. So you guys are wanting to head to the Skylar Hall.
Mm-hmm. And then his name.
Sorry,
was-
ADHD brain just went the Schuyler sisters.
Mhm.
It is New
Good
York
jam.
anyway. Okay. So leaving right now with the police coming to where you're leaving from, it will slow you down just a little bit. Because I assume you're not going to try and get to the university or the hall on foot.
Yes, so we'll probably try to get a cab or one of those adorable little horses in the carriage.
Is my private
Okay.
chauffeur still sticking around?
Since when?
Ah,
I have a
I
lot
mean,
of
did you
money.
hire him for an extended period of time?
I would say I hired him for my stay here.
Okay, then yeah, he's outside of the hotel, like leaning on the car, smoking a cigarette, minding his own business.
We got a place to go.
Where to, sir?
The place you mentioned earlier that already slipped my mind.
Yes. Oh, goodness. Actually, do I have it written down?
Schuyler Hall.
The diner hall?
Do neither of us remember?
I just
Skylar
wrote
Hall, got it.
Tyler Hall, Cult of Darkness speech by Professor Anthony Cowles.
Skylar Hall, got it. And he kind of tosses his cigarette to the ground and stomps it out, and he opens up the door for you guys to get in.
Ladies
well.
first.
Oh, thank you. Get in.
All right, you guys get in, and you get on the road. Not long after you guys get on the road, you are kind of stuck in like a backed up traffic because the cops are trying to like weave through to get to the hotel. And so as you're heading out, you do see the police heading in the direction you just came from, or heading to the direction you just came from. Excuse me.
Well, at least one is going to be apprehended.
Maybe they'll find the rest.
And then, so you guys do pull up to the Skylar Hall. It looks like there's a few people kind of mingling outside, but it doesn't look closed by any means.
Let's see if we can get in and talk to Professor Cowles.
Okay.
Look and act in a sensible way, if you don't mind.
I can be normal.
I should do maybe most of the talking. I'm gonna lead the way up with my little legs.
I'll saunter behind her because it's about her pace.
So
Okay.
you gotta take real little steps. Just tiptoeing. Is there someone like giving a speech inside? Does it look like the crowd is more just in like the mingle mode after party kind of?
It kind of looks like those who are still hanging around are more mingling or discussing what went on. You can kind of hear some of them are just talking about like, he calls himself a professor, like this is a load of hogwash, things like that. Some of them are like, I don't know, he was pretty convincing.
I try to turn up my charm and see if they'll point him out in the crowd for me, like just a random passerby.
Well, these ones are outside of the hall right now.
Okay. Excuse me. I had an important meeting with Professor Cowles. Is he still inside?
Oh, I'm not sure. I know his presentation ended not too long ago. He may have hung out. I'm not sure. I didn't see anything about a meet and greet on the flyer.
Unfortunate. You wouldn't happen to know exactly if he has an office in the building.
I'm not sure. I just came to see his lecture.
Unfortunate. Thank you. I'm gonna head my way inside, see if maybe I can. Maybe he's still hanging out in the hall, in the actual auditorium area.
Okay. I wish perception was a thing.
Yeah. Let me see. Do I have library use?
Wouldn't spot hidden be the closest to perception?
I wouldn't say
Usually
he's
it
really
is, yeah.
hidden though.
No, spot hidden is more like perceiving your surroundings.
Oh, okay. That's not great, but I could
Um,
try. But I
uh,
don't know what he looks like. That's the thing. Neither of us know what this guy looks like, unless he's famous.
I mean,
If I would have read some of his works before, maybe there was like a picture of him in the back. Is that possible?
make a history check to see if you've heard of him before.
Hell yeah, the good dice, the good dice, the good dice. 28. Yes, that is a less than half success because my history is a 75.
Okay. You've heard of him. I don't know if you've like extensively read his work, but you do know he is from Massachusetts. And you've read that he's done some work in Australia, and then you also know that he's been working on studies at the Miskatonic University in Arkham.
Yeah, Australia. And currently works in the Massachusetts University.
Miskatonic. Miskatonic.
Interesting. In Arkham, you said?
Yes.
Have I seen a picture of him before? Even just like I guess they're all black and white photographs at this point.
You know he's a medium build Caucasian fellow.
I'd be
Dark
all in this
hair.
country. Mhm.
Do I see anyone in the crowd where it looks like he's kind of alone, but multiple people keep going to talk to the same person?
Do a spot hidden for me.
Okay, I'll like lean over and be like, I've seen. It's been a while, but I have seen a photograph of him before. White, dark hair, medium build. No facial hair?
You've
No.
seen that?
From photos you've seen, it's pretty clean shaven.
So with that description and getting an 18, which is just below 1/4, do I see anything?
No, but you do see a handful of people that you assume work here kind of going behind the stage area of the hall.
I don't see him, but I see some employees heading back there.
I'll try to flag one down. Excuse me. If you could be so kind.
Yes, ma'am. What can I do for you?
I had urgent business with the Professor Cowles. Could you point me in his direction?
He may still be in the dressing room that we had set up for him, but I'm not sure if he's left yet.
Would you be so kind as to take me there? I'm afraid I'm a little backwards here in America.
Sure, he was the same way. That's fine. Yeah, and they'll quickly they'll pull you behind. Like it's kind of like a little makeshift curtain almost. It's not like a full theater curtain or anything like that, but it does block the back stagehand area from the front of the lecture stage. And they take you back there, and they take you to a door And right now the door is closed, and they go, if he's still here, he'll be in there. And they kind of go and scurry off.
Let's give him a nod and are you ready?
And I knock.
God.
I am. Are you
Enter.
ready? And
Yes.
I open the door and gesture for you to enter.
Give you like a weird looking a kind of curtsy and walk in. Professor Cowles?
Yes, what can I do? I'm sorry, I don't do autographs. And you can see he's kind of like slowly starting to put his things together again.
Neither do I. I had a professional interest.
A fellow academic.
Mm. Pleasure to meet you.
Well-
I am Hackett.
Pleasure. Well, obviously you already know me. Professor Anthony Cowles.
Shakes his
Pleasure.
hand. And my companion here, Mr. Frederick. Famed
Oh.
explorer, if you haven't heard the name yet.
I can't say that I have. Pleasure nonetheless.
Pleasure to meet you.
What can I do for you folks this evening?
We're both acquaintances of Mr. Jackson Elias. Do you
I
know
think
him?
I've read a few of his books. Yes, I can't say I know him personally.
Very interested in international cults and the like.
Yes, extensively from what I've read.
So you've never met him in person? Or any telegrams of any sort?
No, I read some of his books that were in connection with Polynesia and New Zealand, which is my current area.
Is there a way to tell if he's lying to me? Is there a check for that?
You could
Psychology?
do psychology.
Okay, because psychoanalysis is not good for me, but I have psychology.
I will take a psychology, absolutely.
Cool. It's not the best, but it's there. Oh, 20. So that is half.
Okay.
I have 42, just under half.
My psychology's a 10 and I rolled a 93.
That's why I'm doing the talking. You do the punching.
Yeah, I'm not a talker. I'm a finder. And a puncher.
Hell yeah. Our powers combined.
Nope, he seems pretty truthful. He doesn't consciously have really any knowledge of Jackson Elias. But you can tell that he has read a handful of his books. Like, you can tell that that's true.
Mm. I was hoping you had more of a personal relationship.
Unfortunately not. Great
You
work he
know-
did with Polynesia, though, I will say.
He's an excellent writer and researcher. Do you know much of the Carlisle expedition?
I mean, I heard about it. It's terrible.
Anything that would go into your academic study or his and the regions they went to? I know Elias was looking into it, and if he's looking into anything, it has to do with a cult of some kind.
That sounds about right from what I gather his area of expertise is. Absolutely.
Did I bring anything for you around that section of Africa? I know he was in Egypt a little as well.
I mean, I know they were there, but most of my studies weren't necessarily the same area per se. Like this evening, it was Polynesia and like New Zealand cults. I mean, I know there's cults of darkness all over.
When you say cults of darkness, do you mean Is that a show of words, or are they all related to each other?
From what I can tell, somewhat. So both. From what I can tell, whether it's the same or different or anything, they all go by different names depending on the region. Each cult has their own name, and each satanic being that they're worshiping and sacrificing people to, or animals, and all of their ritualistic actions are still all of some sort of satanic origin, from what I've gathered. I don't know if necessarily they're connected. I don't know if I've made that connection. Your friend, Elias, he may have more information on that for you.
Unfortunately, he may have been messing with things a little more sensitive to other people, and I'm afraid he's no longer with us.
Oh. I'm
Which is why I
very
come
sorry
to
to hear
you.
that.
Frederick, how good of an artist are you? Could you redraw that symbol for me? Or did I draw it? I don't remember.
I
is
did
the
send you a
art skill?
message privately, Alicia. That may
It's
help
like
you with
art.
that.
Let me see. Oh shit, you're right. You're right. Okay. Okay, so
So I will say you
19
could have gotten a picture of it.
but like 1920s cameras. Like I snap, is it on film? Is it like a Polaroid?
I will
Is it like
say
a big
you are
box with
fancy that you would have some sort of like rudimentary like Polaroid camera. We'll
shake
say.
it like a Polaroid picture?
I'm
Right.
probably inventing the Polaroid a little early. I don't care.
It's cool. It's cool. Egypt was ahead of its time.
Yeah, you
Okay,
never
I'm
know.
good.
We don't know what Egypt invented in the 20s.
I'll go through. So I'll say like I had taken pictures of the crime scene. I'm not going to show them the body immediately. I'll do a picture of the mask that they were wearing. The murderers.
Okay.
Does this look familiar?
Let me do a check. Check. Oops, I lost that die.
Wait, is there an art skill? Is there a drawing skill?
It's under one of the drop down skills, like craft or something.
I don't think I looked into drop down.
I also
ones.
don't. I don't know what drop down skills are.
You
Like
guys were only
science.
you guys were only 23 years early on the Polaroid.
That's okay.
I told you Egypt's ahead of its time.
It's an Egyptian Polaroid.
Okay, yeah, it's an Egyptian Polaroid.
It only takes pictures of hieroglyphs.
Yep, everything gets changed into.
It prints out on papyrus
That's what I'm
and
saying.
not
Like,
on like an actual like picture thing.
Nice.
oh, stone tablet.
That'd be so heavy.
I'm saying that because back then they had like did the cloak and the guy, or is that way older? I'm trying to.
I think
what...
that's accurate.
No, it's the accordion looking ones where you'd open it and the accordion would come out.
Oh, okay. And then you like set up that whole. Okay.
You just always have one of them strapped to your back.
Always ready to go.
With that roll, he kind of takes our early Polaroid, and he looks at it.
The technology.
And he kind of shines it up to the light to kind of get like a little bit of a better view at it. Well, it's definitely some sort of cult. It looks like it anyway. I can't place what they may worship, but if they're here in New York, that's troubling.
Yes. It seems one has been apprehended, but two got away. I don't believe you're faint of heart, are you, Mr. Cowles?
Not
Yeah, that's what I have, but it has a
particularly.
Polaroid part in the bottom. I'm going to show you
She's
something
had
a
some
little
work done to it.
disturbing. But it is important that I know what this symbol means. I'm showing a picture of Elias's face or head with the thing
Okay.
scratched into it. Please
Oh
don't.
my.
Yes.
That is that's troubling. And he kind of looks at it for a little while. And now I could be wrong. So keep that in mind. My knowledge isn't the most extensive. However, I want to say that was mentioned in one of Elias's books. It's what did they call themselves? The Bloody Tongue, if I remember correct.
Could I make a library use check to see if I've read this book before?
Sure. Go
Hell
ahead.
yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. It's got to be under an 80, guys. Let's see. That's 85.
Easy.
I missed that one. Afraid I'm not familiar. Could you give me that one more time? The Bloody Tongue?
If I'm remembering correctly, that's what it was. Yes.
Was there anything done to his... There wasn't anything in his mouth or done to his tongue, right? His
Not that you
organs were
could
ripped
see,
out.
no.
Thing
Yeah,
carved in
his
the head.
intestines were ripped out, and then that was carved into his head.
And turn to Frederick. I don't suppose you've read it.
I haven't.
If you
I rolled a
can.
50.
Do you have library use as a skill?
I have a 20, so
Hey.
1-5.
Do you wouldn't happen to have a copy?
I might at my home, but that's a ways from here. I'm not a native. I'm living in Massachusetts at the moment.
Right, I remember your blurb at the back of your articles, right?
Mhm.
The Miskatonic University.
Yes, I'm currently teaching occult studies at the university.
Dangerous line of work.
That's what they tell me, or they tell me I'm mad.
And then one, I would say, what's the other interesting thing we saw? The weapon. Now, the Bloody Tongue. Are they all over the world as well? You were saying, or are they one of those cults that stays put generally?
It's hard to say. Every region, cults have a different name, and their gods or their demons have different names as well. So, without extensive language knowledge, it's difficult at times to put links
don't
together
know
between them.
the Bloody Tongue's preferred spot.
Not particularly. I don't go looking for their hideaways, per se. I more study the artifacts connected with them. I don't really go looking for the cults. Unfortunately, I'd hate to say, but it seems like that is your late friend's forte.
Yes. And then one final photo, and show him a photo of the knife, the panga.
I'm pretty sure I have the actual knife with me.
Oh, did you take one?
I think I said I took them both.
Blood encrusted. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I totally took the murder weapons with me, but details.
Well, it's the 1920s, right? You're supposed to mess with murder scenes.
I found
Well,
oh, this is a knife. Pocket.
Mad now.
All of our other games are kind of rubbing off on you, it seems. That, if I can get through my notes, too many notes. That is definitely African.
Hmm.
It's we normally call them machetes
Right.
here in the United States. I don't think I've ever really seen one of those in the States, at least not something that was an artifact brought back.
So you can't narrow it to a particular region. It's just a continent.
I mean, I can try. I don't want to say they differ too much from area to area, but I can attempt to narrow it down. May I?
Of course.
And he will take it and he's going to kind of look at it a little bit and kind of dig deep into his wealth of knowledge.
Just. Whew.
Okay.
Mhm.
Let's see. With that, okay. The closest I may be able to guess is East Africa? Maybe Kenya? But it's hard to tell. They don't differ too much from region to region. But it is African of make and style.
Hmm. Thank you. Mr. Frederick, did you have anything you thought I missed?
No?
Will you be in the area long, Mr. Cowles?
I think this is my only lecture. I may leave in the next day or so.
And if I had further questions, where may I call on you?
I would try the university first. I tend to spend a lot of time there. They may be able to get you in touch with me. But outside of that, there's a chance they may be able to connect you just straight to my home.
Wonderful. I appreciate it. And if you could not spread it around that this has happened to poor Elias, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, I wouldn't dream of it. Make a charm roll for me, Haket.
I can do that. Oh, come on. Come on, dice.
She's better at me than that.
Oh, yeah, that's nope, it's not quite under half. 43 from a 75.
But it's still a success.
Still
Or-
a success.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
A cat is the most
Um,
charming.
I did a test roll to see what I would have gotten, and I got half of my 20.
Damn, nice. Go away, book.
I would have got a 12, but you know.
You know what? We can't all roll well. Okay.
I would
This
have
is
got a
good for me.
10, but my starting is 20, so 10 isn't great to begin with.
Yeah, I just used my worst dice I own.
You know what, you guys? I'm just out here trying my
I'm
best.
I just only
You
have
have
my
good
dice
dice.
that usually roll bad out.
Little moths just trying to invade. Okay.
You know, I don't know if this information may help you all at all. And seeing as I assume you weren't able to catch my lecture, is that correct?
Unfortunately, I just missed it.
Right. I don't know if this will help you at all, but there is a death cult in Australia that used to exist called the Sand Bat.
And bat.
I have been able to link this cult to evidence of Cthulhu mythos.
Cthulhu. I don't believe I've heard that before.
It's people refer to him as an old one or an elder god, a sick, twisted, demonic style being.
Hmm.
Cody's not allowed to make faces anymore.
I didn't see. I was writing notes.
He's so judging this professor so hard right now.
He can't judge, he's not there. Cody,
Oh, you
mute
think
yourself.
I should use any more insights into his soul?
I meant mute your hearing.
And you think that the ones who attacked Elias are related?
I mean, if I found this link with ones in Australia, I don't see why it might not connect with others. There were plates, these photographic plates that I was given by an Arthur McWeir. And he got those from a mining engineer that proves some of it.
We're on the plates?
I have some photos of them. I don't have the actual plates with me at the moment. But each one kind of tells a story. We translated them. Where are my notes? And he starts thumbing through his things. And he pulls out the first one, and they all look like these strange monoliths with writing on them. And he goes, these are written in Aborigines by the Aboriginal people of Australia. And we've discovered these, and they all tell different stories that connect. And he goes, here, look, this first one. And he pulls out this one, and they are very overexposed images. So it's hard to really see, but he pulls out his notes on the translations and stuff. He goes, this first one, it talks about a bat cult that once existed among the Aborigines, known across the continent, and the god was known as the father of all bats. That's what they referred to him as. They believed that making human sacrifices to their god, that they themselves would become worthy enough that he would appear to them. And once he was enticed to appear, he'd conquer all men. Sacrifices were run through a gauntlet of...
Hold on a second.
She just teleported through her background.
Oh no. Ah!
Or is that the new Veda now?
No, that's just Veda.
That's the new Veda. The death god.
I killed her with my stories.
Wait, Shadow
She,
gets afraid of the floor.
Perfectly with the background too.
I apologize. So bat cult, human sacrifice, be one with bat god.
Yes. Once they enticed him to appear, they believed that he would conquer all men. These sacrifices were run through a whole gauntlet of worshippers who struck victims with clubs embedded with sharp teeth. And we found one of these artifacts too. They look like bat teeth embedded in these clubs. It's unreal.
Okay.
But they coded them from studies we've and speaking with Aborigines and hearing their tales and their legends and everything. They use a fast-acting poison, and excuse me for the vulgarities, is somehow derived from some sort of fermented bat dropping, from what we gather.
Wonderful.
But this is where it takes a bit of an odd turn, and maybe it's the batshit, but they all went mad before they died. Every victim. There was never one case that didn't. Like they lost their minds, like they should be put in bedlam or something.
And what was the year that these occurred?
We don't know. We haven't even been able to date these monoliths. We theorize centuries, maybe? From what we can gather, this has been going on for years. According to Aborigines legend, the leaders could take the forms of snakes with bat wings, and it enabled them to steal sacrifices from across the land. We believe it went dormant or extinct or something of that extent hundreds of years ago, but we're not sure. But that's the whole reason that I even got interested in Elias's books on present-day cults, is trying to find a connection to, well, all of this. Oh, and then this one. And he pulls that one away, and he shows you a second one. And again, it's another monolith, and it's just covered in language. And he goes, this one is a song from the Aborigines. And it mentions a place somewhere west of Australia where enormous beings gathered. And the song says that these gods were not at all like men. They built great sleeping walls and dug great caves. But living winds blew down the gods and overthrew them, destroying their camp. When this happened, the way was open for the father of all bats who came into the land and grew strong. The Aborigines had a whole song about this. I don't think it was just legend.
I'm of the mind to believe in the more wondrous parts of the world, but this does seem like a stretch. You think these cultists are that their cult is making them mystical somehow?
I
This
don't know
all
if it's
does just
making-
seem like a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
But there's
Right.
proof. So there's proof. Even oh Lord, what's his name? Arthur McWeir. He had a diary, a journal of sorts, where he recorded several attacks on the Aborigines, recorded deaths of victims from hundreds of small puncture wounds, very reminiscent to this dormant cult. I have the diary. Damn, it's at home. I'm staying in Massachusetts right now, on a short stint doing the occult studies. But I live in Australia. It's still at my home in Australia. That's where I met Arthur McWeir. If you're ever there, I will gladly show you this. This journal is irrefutable proof. There is something going on.
And this is a journal from who?
Arthur McCowell. He's one of the discoverers of these.
Arthur McWeir.
Arthur McWeir, yes. Sorry. He's from Port Hedland, Australia. He was one of the ones that found these large stones. And he shows you, he has a third photo. And you can see there is these 4 overexposed slides. And each one shows a couple of very sweaty men standing next to these enormous blocks of stone that are pitted and eroded, but clearly dressed and formed for some architectural purpose. Looking closely, you can see there are dim carvings that decorate them, and there are billows of sands everywhere.
So these cultists who murdered our friend are from Africa, but they're related to these bat god worshippers in Australia, is what you're
I think there may be
believing.
some underlying connection between these cults that spread across the world, not just between 2-3 continents, but for multiple continents to have all sorts of different blood cults that seem similar, at least in some aspects. Names and things and stories and legends may be different. But from what I've gathered, if it's these dark creatures, beings, demons, I don't know. But what I've been able to gather is that there may be more than one.
Did I see any bat-like creatures in the carnival fog? I remember seeing tentacle
Make-
deer creatures. A what?
History.
History. History's not bad. History is pretty good. Ooh. Critical success. 12 out of 75.
Thinking back on it now, they weren't at the forefront of what you saw in the fog because it was a lot to take in. Like it was creepy. You faintly remember now there being some sort of creature with bat wings, but you're not sure if it was a bat or a snake. Or both.
Now that I recall. Sebastian is not going to go with this. But, Frederick, I'm gonna kind of lower my voice, like I know I'm right in front of the professor. Be like, do you remember? I remember seeing something similar in the carnival, the fog.
Going by the history check, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Look, I know I sound mad. All of my colleagues think so too.
No, I think.
But there are disturbing parallels between the tales just of this cult in Australia and Cthulhu.
We may have experienced something similar.
What do you mean, similar?
I've got my bag. I'm gonna take out the tentacle wand that is now just gross.
Oh my.
Yes, I held on to it.
I pull out my cleaned unicorn horn.
Oh, that is disgusting. All cards on the table. We had a shared experience, a dream vision of some sort while I was at home in Egypt and he was here in America, and two of our other colleagues were in other states here in America. We all went to a carnival and woke up with these objects. And I saw the creatures you mentioned in a fog. I don't suppose you know anything about this.
And neither of you had met previously?
No. I rarely leave home.
But now you're both here together.
Oh yes, we all just happened to be summoned by Elias before his final moments.
What she said.
Odd.
So I am more inclined to believe than I might have been previously. What you're saying. And if one was foolhardy enough to pursue this murder cult, would you say Australia or Africa is a better start? Oh, puppies. Wait, puppies.
I think better depends on what all you find. The dreams are odd, though. I vaguely remember in what I've read of the mythos that things like this can happen. There are creatures that dwell in dreams, but I can't be sure.
Put it back in my bag.
As far as Australia or Egypt, I can't say I've really spent a lot of time there. I think, if my suspicions are right, I'm one stop of many.
Hmm.
And
See.
it may depend on what else you find.
Well, there's also that importing, exporting place. And we do have other options.
Yeah.
We should return to our fellows. I appreciate all of your help.
No, absolutely. My daughter will probably be quite upset for me for taking so long, but it's fine. We will be going back to Massachusetts for the time being, but I believe in about 6 or 7 months we plan on returning to Australia. So, depending.
6 or 7 months in Australia.
We
And
should
then
be
I will
heading
have a look at
home
the
around
journal.
then. Please, by all means, stop by. I wish there was more I could do. Unfortunately,
Mm.
contracted fellowships unfortunately take a priority in careers at times.
Mhm.
But if any of my research can be of help, please at least try and phone. If I'm able to, I can provide what assistance I can.
I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you both.
And do be careful looking into these.
I do my best.
Frederick, could you
lovely
call the
evening.
car?
He should
as
be
well.
waiting for us.
We don't.
Should we be a bit careful how we tell it to Sebastian? There's definitely more going on here than he
Oh.
seems to think.
But I will love the look on his face. But you're right. Mystical gods of bat snakes that are sending out hitmen. How about you think of a good way to dumb it down for him, and I will look at the scenery.
And the gears begin to grind.
We head back. I don't know if you guys are still at the murder scene. I don't know, were you guys questioned by police this whole time? But we're heading back to
They're
see
being
if we
have
see them
questioned. Where are the murder weapons?
in handcuffs. Just it was all a setup by the mob.
Had the police arrived?
They have. You are waiting in the room, and two police officers come in. And they kind of stop in the doorway and they take a look around, and you see the one just like make a face like, damn. And then quickly realizes that that was on his face and not just in his head, and he tries to kind of like go back to that professional demeanor. And
It's
he
fine,
tips,
officers. Right this way.
they tip their hat to both you and Mark. Evening, gentlemen. What seems to have happened here?
Well, it appears that is it Jackson Ellis?
Jackson Elias, yes.
It appears that Mr. Elias here, Jackson Elias, was split open at his midsection into his large intestines and his smaller intestines. There were lesions. He bled to death and had died from trauma from his intestines that were coming out. They also attempted to remove some of his other organs. He's a little more peaceful now. The two men escaped through the window there, ran down the fire escape. Mr. Elias was dead at I remember, but Cody can't.
Like 8 o'clock, 8:02, something.
Like eight, yeah, his time
He
of
wrote it on
death.
his hand.
Yeah, it's. I wasn't gonna go look at his hand though.
Yeah.
The time of death was about 8:05. It's written on his hand for the coroner.
What, are you, a doctor or something?
Actually, I am. I'm
You
a
did.
surgeon.
Yeah.
This seems to have
Alright.
rehearsed. Let's arrest him.
He's guilty.
All right. And your name, Doctor.
Dr. Harkness, Sebastian Harkness. I would be happy to give a report to the coroner or to y'all as to the condition of the body as it was found and the cause of death.
All right. What about him?
We both were here to meet Mr. Elias.
Oh no, he's pointing to like the unconscious body you guys have tied up in the room.
This is one of the This is one of the gentlemen that assaulted him, and one of the individuals that was instrumental in his death. My good friend here was able to subdue him before he could leave, and we've been holding him for y'all.
Yeah, we had to knock him out a couple times just to make sure he didn't get away, but we figured that would be okay as long as you guys got here and he was still alive.
I mean, well, at least you got one of them. How many did you say there were?
There were
There
three.
was three.
3. 1 of 3 ain't bad. All right. And what was your name, sir, for the record?
My name is Mark McFlynn.
Mark McFlynn. Okay, and your relations to the victim?
He was actually a good friend of ours. And he had asked us to come here for a meeting this evening. And when we got here, we actually heard this happening to him, and we broke the door open, and that's when they decided to try to flee. But we were able to get one of them anyway.
Unfortunately, we were not able to save our friend. I did everything that I could, but there just wasn't time.
Right. You said there was some sort of meeting. What was this meeting about?
We don't know.
He just asked you to a meeting and didn't say what?
Yeah, he's a good friend. He asked us all to come, and we decided that we better come because he's our friend. But we never got to find out what it was about.
He's that kind of friend, when your friend needs your help and asks for your attendance, you go.
Right, okay. Unknown meeting.
We
Friend,
suspect it had to do with a book that he was writing. He was a well-published author.
author. Got it.
In fact, he typically writes about, this is going to sound crazy, he typically writes about cults and debunks them. And the 3 individuals, as you can see from the one on the floor, are dressed the part.
It just looks shabby to me.
They're not wearing.
What part would that be?
They're not wearing hoods and masks.
It was a mask, and they're in like they were all in like really shabby, shoddy
Oh,
suits.
I thought they were wearing like the whole like.
No,
robe
they're
and
not
stuff.
like
Cloak
KKK cult like
the
hooded
greater
figures.
good.
Okay,
They
that's
had-
right.
Where's
Yeah,
this
they
guy's
had
mask
a
again?
creepy mask, and each one is wearing a shabby suit. And
Where's
this
they
guy's
had the
creepy mask?
repulsive headpiece, but you guys had taken that off of him.
Does Alicia have that? Or sorry, does Heket have that mask?
I don't believe so. She didn't really touch anything. She just looked.
Okay, so that mask should still be there. So I would go grab that mask and say, this is what we're talking about. Because it was
I-
pretty darn creepy.
I would love if
Okay.
Frederick and Hickett just left with all of the evidence.
We were just like, yeah, let's just take this. They don't need it. It's ours
Alright.
now.
Guys with creepy, disturbing masks. All right. And he kind of signals to his partner, and his partner grabs the mask and kind of starts putting like a bag together. I'm pretty sure they didn't do like evidence bags in the
It's like
20s.
forensics of the 1920s.
He's got like It's like a duffel bag, like a
Switch
burlap
hands it a
sack
little
kind of
bit,
thing, and he's
yeah.
just like loading things into it. All right. Well, I guess. He kind of looks at his watch. Lieutenant ain't gonna be able to make it out here for a while, huh? No, he's caught up with something. I forget what he said. All right. If you don't mind, we're gonna gather what we can. Do either of you have any questions for us?
No, just when you're done, we would like to gather his belongings so that we can return them to his family.
Make an intelligence check for me real quick.
Oh, big brain time.
53.
22.
Okay. You both recall that you know of no living relatives and no permanent address.
Oh,
we knew that.
Yeah, that was not.
Just deceiving check? Is that a thing? Or just a bullshit?
I just wanted to make sure that you guys had that knowledge. But any of the like little things that you picked up, I assumed you guys would have probably like pocketed by now.
Oh, would that be a fast talk check? That's kind of, I didn't realize that was a skill. I'm not good at that.
Yeah, fast talk is kind of like, you know, when you try to like talk faster to explain something to like
Confuse
psych
somebody.
someone out. That's kind of what that is. It's like a weird way to try and persuade somebody of something. Essentially. All right.
I feel like the idea that Sebastian and I have is that just in case we've missed anything, we want to be able to gather all the stuff. Is that kind of what? Yeah, that's what we're
okay.
thinking.
Yeah, I've got you guys. I realized that after Sebastian was like, "Oh no, that's not why I'm doing this." Yeah. Once the investigation's closed, we can return personal belongings to you. That's fine. Where are y'all staying? In case we have more questions for you if the lieutenant wants to talk to you.
We are staying at the Chelsea Hotel if the lieutenant needs to speak with us.
No, actually, we're staying at the New Grand Hotel.
Oh, you're right. This is the Chelsea. We're staying at the Grand View.
New Grand.
And he kind of like, he looks a little annoyed at the both of you, and he like strikes through Chelsea Hotel and starts writing the New Grand Hotel.
Sorry, I read the wrong one off my notes.
No, you're good. All right. I don't think I need anything more from the lot of you. So you're free to go for now.
Okay. We appreciate your help, and again, if there's anything the coroner needs, feel free to ring us at the hotel.
Yep. And as you guys are kind of leaving, you kind of hear it's sort of muffled while you're waiting for the elevator to come back up to the floor.
As a note, once we step out of the room, I'm gonna kind of stop.
Okay.
And see if they start talking once we leave.
Ooh.
I am not going to repeat some of the things they say because that is rude and racist and offensive.
Okay.
And it's the 1920s. And Jackson Elias is an African American gentleman.
Right. So 1920s bullshit.
So there's a little bit of that, and you can kind of tell there's a little bit of like, man, do we have to really look into this? Like, blah, 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 you know, this, that, and the other. It's just insert vulgarity here. You know, why does this matter? You know, on top of just like normal on the job, like complaining and stuff like that. You hear? Damn, they really did a number on him, though. Yeah, I hate to be that guy.
Once
There's like
I
a little
feel,
bit of a chuckle.
once I feel like they've kind of gotten there, the gist of what we're gonna get out of this conversation, I walk back in and I'm like, oh, excuse me, I forgot to mention, if the department does a good job and manages to track down the other two, and is able to learn anything, I will be making a sizable donation to your police department.
And they kind of like lean back, like they're standing, but they kind of like lean back a little bit, and they both kind of like eye what you're wearing, and just kind of they're basically sizing you up. Like, how much money does this guy actually have?
Here, I'll tell you what. I'll make
Go
a
ahead and make a
roll.
persuade. I
Oh.
believe that's one.
It is. I was gonna go with a charm.
Bring out a wad of
You
cash
can
and
do
fan
either.
yourself with it.
I feel like this would be a little bit more of a persuade than a
Okay.
charm, but I will accept either.
That would be a
You good either
3.
way?
Ooh,
Okay.
good you.
Yeah, well, you know what, sir? Well, I guess you might not. You're probably visiting. But we're one of the best precincts you got here in New York. So don't worry, we got your friend for you.
That's good. Then I'm glad to know that y'all will look into his death just like you would your brother, and I appreciate that. And I'm glad to know that y'all are going to take this with the utmost responsibility and the utmost care.
Boys in blue.
That's how the lieutenant likes it, so.
Then I'll leave.
Okay, as you start to walk away and you start to catch up with Mark, you hear, "Oh, look who's awake!" And, not too much time passes, but you figure they're kind of bringing him back, like, more to consciousness a little bit, and all you hear, like, you don't hear any shuffling or scuffling, you don't hear, like, any of the third degree
Justice.
necessarily from the hall, but you just hear, like, madman screaming gibberish. Like, incoherent, a language that does not make any sense. And then you hear a loud thud.
Does it
And then
sound
silence.
like it's a Latin root?
Oh, you have that as a language, don't you?
Hmm.
Make a language check for me.
I also have that.
Do I have Latin? I think I just have English and Egyptian. As one
You're
does.
too far away to tell. You're not sure.
I don't
You
know
catch
what
hints
that guy
that
was
maybe-
saying.
But
That sounded crazy.
yeah, and you hear a loud thud, and you gather that the officers probably did what you guys have been doing this entire time and just knocked him out again.
This
I thought it
thing
might have
must
been Latin,
suck
but I
for
didn't
that guy.
quite hear enough.
How too many times can you get knocked out in one night before there's like serious permanent damage?
I think he'll be fine.
It's the
Um,
1920s. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's fine. What? Brain damage? That wasn't a thing.
What, you're just convincing the neurons to make new connections.
Yeah, you know, if you smack it together enough times, it works the right way.
Yeah, it's like smacking a computer. It just makes it work better.
Exactly.
Drop test.
It's the best way to do things. All right.
Sebastian, should we go find the others? Try and track them down?
Yeah, they would have. The others should be at the headed over to the try to catch what they could of the
Skylar Hall? Yeah.
yeah. I don't know whether they would have tried to make their way back here, or whether they would have attempted to make their way to our hotel when they were done.
Well, we could go and wait in the lobby for a little bit and see if they make their way back, and then if they say give them a half an hour, what do you think?
Sounds good. We can go get a drink at the bar. Yes, I know. I don't mean alcoholic. I mean like a regular drink.
And that's fruit smoothie. Mm.
A coffee bar.
It's like the
Sounds
Lord
good.
intended.
A cafe. Yeah, fast talk is basically. Sorry, I'm doubling back, but I was thinking about it still.
So I
But,
don't really have it, but yeah.
I wanted to give you a better description on what it was, so that you knew. So fast talk is pretty much verbal trickery, deception, or a misdirection. Kind of like tricking a bouncer to let you into a club, or getting someone to sign a form they hadn't read.
Mm.
Little things like that. Usually after a little while, after like you've left or something like that, the person will realize what's happened.
You probably can't
Okay.
use that twice on the same person.
You
Real life Jedi
can,
mind trick.
but
It would get harder.
yeah, it's gonna get harder against the same person, because eventually they're gonna kind of catch on to, oh, you're a wise guy kind of thing.
Some kind of wise guy,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, you can also use it to like haggle for a price or like a service or something. But usually, if you try to do that twice with the same shopkeep, they're either gonna refuse to haggle with you, may refuse you service. They may even raise the prices the next time around,
Ooh.
just to make up for the fact that they realized that they got
Swindle.
cheated on a deal. So it's got its pros, it's got its cons. And a lot of times it will have like lasting side effects.
Okay, so we're down in the coffee bar, or if there's some kind of coffee bar or whatever at the Chelsea there, waiting for these guys. Do they make it back to us within that half an hour, or do we go searching?
Did you guys want to return to the Chelsea, Haket and Frederick?
That's what she had said, was to check by to see if they're still there.
Okay. I'll say this time of night, after doing all of your talking and the whole police business has kind of died down, it doesn't take terribly long to get back over there. So I'd say within the half hour they're back. They might cut it close, but within the hour or half hour they're
As you guys
they
like were
come,
walking out.
I guess, walking into the lobby as you guys may be like getting up and getting ready to leave or something along those lines.
Sebastian, there they are.
They had
Excellent.
evening tea without us. How rude.
Haket, Frederick.
Any luck with the police?
I don't know if you could say we had good luck with the police. They came. They weren't too impressed that they had to deal with Jackson's body. But we did hear the person that we knocked out wake up, and he was jabbering some kind of language I'd never heard before. And then they knocked him out again because I think he sounded crazy anyway. And that's about all we learned from them.
Unfortunately, like other low uncultured individuals, they were not too thrilled to be dealing with what we had going on. So I went back in and told them that I would make a sizable donation to their police department if they were able to actually do what they were supposed to do.
And I would say it did have some kind of effect on them. They looked like they were going to do their job. So we left them, and hopefully they find those other two. But how did you two make out? Did you get to meet Professor Cowles?
Oh,
We did.
yes.
Yes.
charming man.
We heard about a potential cult that these people could be related to.
Really? Do tell.
There's a lot of details. The relevant is they're located in, I believe it was told, Australia and South Africa.
East Africa. Well, I suppose there's lots of cults around the world that might be related to a mythos, but different gods or elder things within that mythos.
I believe there's some stuff about Cthulhu or some jargon.
Didn't ring a bell for me in particular, but I don't know if either of you have heard of the Cthulhu mythos.
Never heard of it.
No.
And I don't know. I have read some of Jackson's books, and I don't know if I remember that word in his publications either.
Do you happen to remember his book specifically? Right. About the bloody tongue. I couldn't recall exactly, but I haven't read all of his books.
Was
You
that a cult? Like a cult named the
Yes.
Bloody Tongue?
Yes.
I got a 5.
Hell yeah.
You've read all of the books.
All the books, front, back, sideways.
You have them
I do not.
memorized.
I do not remember anything about that.
I'll be honest, I haven't actually read many of his books.
Does not surprise me. How we were acquainted from the adventuring aspect? Were you more into traveling with him?
Yeah.
Can't say I was much into the rough and tumble bit, but I did love to hear about it. So, well, now that Sebastian has stepped out to relieve himself, Mr. Mr. Mark,
Yes.
the creatures we saw in the fog,
Yes.
the Aborigines in Australia believed in a sort of snake god with bat wings. And it seemed oddly familiar to something I had seen. And then we were all called together to witness a murder by, you know what I'm getting at.
Think I do know what you're getting at. And it's kind of creeping me out.
There seems to be something more mystical going on here than what Sebastian believes.
Well,
Oh, he's
when
back
we
in
were-
the room.
Never mind. We'll talk.
So how about
after.
that weather?
Charming. Just
It's a bit,
You saw
it's a bit chilly.
bats with wings in the fog?
did you see the bat wing snake creatures in the fog back in the carnival?
I don't remember the dream that clearly.
Do you remember anything in the fog, Sebastian?
I
Like
saw
now that we're all together, and now that this has all happened, does that dream mean more to you now?
It's definitely something bizarre.
Okay, but I mean, you obviously believe that it happened, that it occurred, correct?
Yes, we absolutely had a dream.
Okay,
How
So
we
you-
were able to
go ahead.
have such similar dreams at the same time is very fascinating.
Okay, so what Hackett and myself and Frederick are trying to come up with or think back to is in the fog, we all saw creatures. Did you see creatures in that fog? Do you remember?
I saw shapes, but I don't remember or recall what they looked like. Let's see. What did I see in the fog? I don't even remember.
I feel like we all saw the stag tentacle creature.
You saw
I-
some like weird creatures. You saw like the weird like tentacled deer looking thing. You saw a bunch of people.
It looked like
Like
there
you
were-
remember this is the odd part for you guys. Like even though it's been days since you've had that dream, you still recall it like it was just something that happened, and it wasn't just like, oh, I had a weird dream last night. Now I can't remember what happened. You
So it was-
remember
the oddest thing. They had deer that were wearing some genus of octopus on their head as like hats. And some men around them.
I think we can work with that, Haket. What do you think?
I think we're getting somewhere.
Okay, so this Professor Cowles, when you stepped out, this Professor Cowles,
Mm.
he is talking about this cult and creatures that these people, I will say, worship, are oddly similar or have similarities to some of the things that we saw in our dream.
Yeah, you were
Yes.
talking about the cult in Australia.
Yes.
Yes. And also the you said you recalled the bloody tongue out of one of his books.
Yes.
What do you recall
It's
about it?
It's a book.
Dot, dot, dot. Oh yeah, those guys.
Make an intelligence check for me.
He did. He rolled.
I
a
did.
3.
I got a
Is
5.
it-
Oh, I did not hear your 5. My
Mm,
bad.
It's a 5 not good
Um,
enough.
Quick wit.
No, you need a 1.
Okay.
You
I'm pretty sure that's an
remember
extreme success.
reading something in which was probably his most popular book, Sons of Death.
Makes sense
You
why no one
remember
else
that in
read
this you remember
Not
that
according to my
this
dice.
book caught your interest the most because he writes about his experiences and stuff with modern day thuggies and his infiltration of the cult.
Huggies?
Yeah, like thugs.
Okay. Not like diapers.
No. Those are
Okay.
huggies. These are thuggies, totally different things.
It's diapers
These are
for
ugly
gang members. Okay.
what
Hey,
was the name- what
sometimes
was
you
the
gotta
name
do
of
what you
that,
gotta do.
Sorry, what was the name of that book again?
Sons of Death.
So, I do remember reading through one of his drafts and then reading the book once he finally published it on Sons of Death. And it was a very interesting
That's just the
take.
title of the book.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
thought
the
that's-
title of the cult or anything.
Oh, yeah, I thought that I meant the title of the book when I said it.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew.
So it was a fascinating look into the psychological aspects and his personal experiences when he was infiltrating this cult and these thugs that he was dealing with down in Africa.
How's the
I'm sorry,
bloody tongue?
Australia. Yes.
Not in Africa.
Yeah, Australia. Right.
Nope, not in Australia.
Egypt?
Here in the States.
It was here in the States.
Yeah,
Oh.
and it wasn't like a psychological analysis. He literally wrote a book of infiltrating a cult.
Oh, I know. This is
Okay.
Not
I
his
just want to
psychoanalysis,
make
but-
sure that you have the actual knowledge, and I'm not
Yeah.
trying to correct what your character is saying. I just want to make sure you have the actual knowledge on the book.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, while he does do a lot of stuff that like psychoanalyzes cults and things like that, this book stood out and was his most popular because it described these thugs and this cult, which is where the name the bloody tongue kind of rings a bell for you. Is that it's mentioned in the book while he's writing about his experience after like going undercover and infiltrating a cult.
We might be able to pick.
But he wrote that book like 7 years ago.
If we're not in Massachusetts, we can find a copy of it here, I'm sure. But otherwise, I have a copy at the house.
Mm. Think so.
If he,
Would you all care to take a car back to the hotel?
Car.
Yeah, the car.
Yes, I guess it is rather late. I was curious about the import bot that he had marked. That maybe that could explain the knife, but I can't say I'm much of a detective.
We could always try to go check, but I'm sure at this time of the evening they would be closed.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
it's
keep thinking
getting
that.
pretty late in the evening. You're probably pushing 11.
And honestly, after tonight, I would much rather go there during the day. I don't know about you guys.
Mm.
Oh, don't
True.
let a couple murders scare you.
Yes, we'll throw Mr. Frederick at them. But you're right. I was a little too ahead of myself. We should go in the morning.
Plus, it's been a long day. I mean,
Yes,
with everything that's happened with Elias.
poor man.
What I wouldn't give to find a speakeasy so we could have a drink to
A toast to his
commemorate him.
memory.
Yes.
Oh, who would know where
Frederick?
those are?
Everyone's looking at
Um,
Frederick.
Brad,
Mhm.
are you
Go
hiding something
ahead.
from us?
What do I want you to roll? Hold on. Let me look at your sheet,
Alcoholism.
Mr. Humphrey. I will say. You know what? Go ahead and do just a spot hidden for me to find a hidden spot.
That is a 50, so not half, but a success.
Okay. I feel like you should be fine this time of night. Since you did get here a few days early, you did have more time than others to kind of explore the city. You can recall a spot that's about 3 blocks from here.
Who would know where one of those are? Take a right here.
After you.
And you lead everyone around back through an alley of a florist shop to the back door. And I am going to message you the code that you know.
Pineapple. Oh, we should have rented a pineapple. That's what you do here, isn't it? Back in the day, it was like a status thing because pineapples were hard to come by. So you'd bring
Were they?
pineapples to a party. You'd rent them for the
Yeah.
night and then give them back.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I just go up to a door, knock, and say quietly, Rochambeau. Rochambeau. I don't know how to pronounce that to begin with.
Are you trying to say Rochambeau?
No,
Rochambeau. It's a weird word.
I'm sorry, I
Oh,
don't
you
mean to
sweet
laugh at
summer
your
child.
pronunciation.
I have never seen
I
that
was
word
not
before.
prepared.
Really?
Yeah, never.
Rochambeau.
It probably also didn't help that I spelt it correctly and not just how it sounds.
Yeah,
I didn't just spell it phonetically.
yeah, I see it. It's
It's
like,
the French
okay,
game.
sound it out.
Where you take your friends in the nuts.
Yeah, so you knock and there's, in typical speakeasy fashion, there's like a little like slit to the door that slides open, and all you see are like this pair of eyes with like these super thick round rimmed glasses. And you say your secret word and it slams shut and you hear like a lock or two and then the door just opens wide. And there's this really short Frenchman. Like it definitely kind of has that like French
Mustache.
you kind of get it from like the thin pencil mustache. He just looks very European almost. And
Let
then you
us-
see the mustache and you go, oh, he's probably French.
Let us hear that accent there, Catelyn.
Please,
Oh.
please.
No, because he doesn't say anything. He just opens the door and he just kind of sits back down.
You don't have a name, sir.
No. And this is where we're gonna go to
No.
break while you guys go into the speakeasy.
Come
His-
on.
His name was Inspector Poirot.
It's the cops. Run. It's a setup.
And we are going to hire him to help us solve this case.
Yeah, we can't go on break until we hear him say his name, Cat.
Sebastian, pay the man.
I will let us keep running on break.
Francois.
We're going live in now.
Oh my god.
Welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed your break. Hope you got all of the drinks. And I hope you're ready to join our investigators on more of the investigating. For now, where we left off is they are...
Somebody whose name I forgot to just let us into the
Yeah,
speakeasy.
some Frenchman
Pepe Le
heavy
Pew.
axe. Oh,
Ooh.
enchanté.
Oh,
Have just gone to take a well-deserved rest after a long, traumatic day at a local speakeasy. So you get through the door and you see it immediately descends just into a set of stairs, and you can just hear, now that you're through this door, just loud, boisterous music and like crowded chatter from downstairs.
Exciting.
And you go downstairs and you get into this large open area, and it is almost like a zoo in here. It is loud, it is partying. The music is not playing.
Maybe
Fred
that
just
Gatsby
walks in.
tunes.
Feels just like home.
Is your house like this?
We have some fun in the basement sometimes.
Hmm.
You
There
can't
we
just
go.
do all of this out in the open.
Oh, Fred, there's
Whoa.
the table we were at last time.
Yeah, the band is in full swing. There's singers on stage in these super elaborate, like sequined flapper dresses, dressed to the nines, just ready for a party. And everyone just looks like they're having a great time. And it's all walks of life. It's not just like one class in this particular one. It looks like it's all just intermingled and everyone just trying to have a good time, get a drink,
what's your poison? It's on me.
and relax.
How generous. I suppose if they have I'm not very good with alcohol. She likes
Gin and
really
tonic?
sweet things.
That's not really sweet.
Or with like honey in it or something.
Long Island?
So is that a thing?
Yeah,
I don't think
Long
that's a
Island
thing
iced
back.
tea.
I don't think it's a thing in the 20s.
It's
I'm
not.
sure
but it
they've
is-
got something
but
similar.
it is good.
Most of
Long
the stuff
Island.
they had was just real basic.
A glass of their sweetest wine. You could be so kind.
Freddie?
Let's have some of your finest whiskey.
Simple folk. I'll just have a beer. Do you guys have beer here?
I don't see why not. I mean, it might be like rudimentary, made in someone's basement kind of beer. You're not going to get like a Budweiser or anything.
That'll do.
I bring back a beer and 3 whiskeys. This is the sweetest they had.
Can I roll for bullshit?
But I'll allow it. What do you want to roll?
What did I roll last time on our
Psychology.
friend?
Psychology.
Psychology.
Do psychology, yeah.
Okay, 42.
I mean, if you think they would have,
64. I believe you, I suppose.
I was gonna say I don't think they would have wine, but if they do, then I will gladly have brought wine.
I mean, I don't think wine is that hard to make. It's really just fermented grapes.
Or any fermented fruit.
Yeah.
I will bring you the equivalent of what they have.
Oh, I would imagine.
We'll
that-
say they have like some kind of like basement sangria.
Mm.
I just foresee walking. I'd be like, "Can I?" Yeah, here you go. All the same glasses. Which one is the beer? That one. Which one's the wine? That one.
Oh.
They all look and smell the same. Don't
So
worry
you pour
about it.
them out of the same
Here.
bottle.
I mean, maybe some of like the lower end speakeasies, you know, it'd be like, let me get this, and you will always get the exact same thing. This one looks at least middle ground, like they've got like some kind of like shelf
Patrick knows the good
setup of
stuff.
what they have.
Let's say Fred wouldn't go to the low end, but I think sometimes Fred will take what he can get.
Fair.
Thank you, Sebastian. This is long overdue for a terrible day.
Amen.
Thank you. To our departed friend.
To
May
Jackson.
his work live on.
To Jackson.
To Jackson.
To Jackson.
To Jackson.
And we've all been poisoned.
I
Nobody
have a
drink too
very
much.
strong
We should be in the red mind tomorrow.
inclination to go get whiskey.
I mean, you guys have some downtime, so if there's anything you guys want to talk about or discuss while you're here, you are free to do so.
So, where is this professor?
Mr. What was it, Cowley? Cowles. Mr. Cowles, I believe he's traveling, but he gave me a number to his domicile in Massachusetts and the
Oh.
college he works for.
Which college?
The College of
Miskatonic?
Miskatonic University.
Oh, yeah.
You're
That's-
familiar?
hmm I'm from Massachusetts.
Hmm. But he will be returning to Australia in about 6 months, 7. And there he has a journal that apparently will tell us all about these bat cultists and how they're connected to the greater cult network.
Interesting.
Paquette, when you guys were there, did you ask Professor Cowles what his slideshow was about? Like, I mean, Jackson had his card and this flyer in his pocket for a reason. He maybe was going to get us to go to the show or wanted to be at that show or had a reason for it. Did he say what the slideshow was about?
Yes, his he showed me pictures of the strange monoliths they found in Australia and the stories, the beliefs of the Aboriginal peoples. And he believes that these bat snake creatures really existed and would kidnap people to sacrifice them so that their great bat god could come through and take over the world of man. And he believes it's connected to a lot of these other blood murder cults that are going to this day.
Interesting.
But
Yes, he was trying to forge that connection.
I doubt Elias wanted us to go to the show as he summoned us at the same time the show was beginning.
Well, he had an interest at the very least. And it might be connected to the fellows that murdered him.
Are you guys there?
We are.
Sorry, computer just
Yeah, you remember him saying that, according to legend, the leaders of this cult could turn into snake creatures with like, bat wings.
He very much believes it. And I'm inclined to give it thought after our shared experience. At least not write him off entirely. Not yet.
Best we try to learn more first.
I would say the Emporium or that the matchbook for that certain place.
Matchbook for them.
Or the Tiger or something.
Stumbling Tiger Bar,
Mm-hmm.
Shanghai Fun and Friends.
But the import, export.
Yeah, the import-export might connect the knife or the machete thing. The Shanghai Club might just be another person of interest he was talking to.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to go check it out.
And Elias was a very dear friend, but are we positive this is something to get involved in the first place? I mourn for the man, but there's not much to do for him at the...
Well, I mean, I don't know how well y'all knew the man and how close you were, but I feel I owe it to him to find out what's going on and why he died. So it wasn't in vain.
Tragedy, to be sure, and I'm sure I will attend the funeral and give him my best condolences, but with the police working on it, do we want to go cult hunting?
If nothing else, I'm intrigued about the story that will come out of this.
I don't plan on writing a book on it.
Why not?
Cults were not really my pursuit, like it was his. If anything, I felt we should leave them alone.
I have a feeling that this is going to be more than just cults.
I feel like we're not really being given a choice. We were brought together in the dream, and that was disturbing. But then Jackson brought us together for a reason. And I think we need to follow this through. If not for Jackson, for ourselves.
But now that you do mention it, it wasn't just Jackson that brought me here. I got
No.
a phone call. No idea who it was. And they told me to go to New York. And then I got the telegram from Jackson, day later.
I got a phone call like that as well.
Did you recognize the person?
No?
Got that same phone call.
I got a phone call as well.
Oh, Lord.
See, this is what I'm talking about. We're connected by more than what we're seeing, and I feel like we need to follow through. There might be so much more to this than just, as I said, for Jackson, and even for ourselves. There's a connection to this that, from what you're telling me, that Professor Cowles is seeing. I mean, how did he seem? Was it like was he interested? Was he scared? How did he feel when you were talking to him? Or how did he seem?
Unsettled but intrigued is how I would put it. I didn't seem like he was lying to me or orchestrating anything nefarious. But he did not know Elias personally. Somehow their interests aligned in that short avenue of research. And he is interested in speaking with us again, so he is prepared to dive into this murder conspiracy. Wholeheartedly, strangely enough.
We have some help there if we need it.
Mm. I suppose.
I would really to know who the benefactor is that called us there before we got the telegram.
So would I.
That could be of even more help to us. Perhaps they'll call us. They know we're here.
They must. Whatever it is.
It'll be very hard to track them down. It's not like our phone can tell us or who's calling or anything.
Now that is
If only.
witchcraft. Ugh, if only my phone could recognize my face and then. No. Right. I can stay a while, I suppose. I don't have anything pressing back home, but
I can't stay indefinitely, but I have allowed myself, I hope, enough time. And I don't know if this, as long as my family's okay, this is more important than work. I can always find more work.
I'll be honest, I can stay here as long as I want. It doesn't make too much of a difference at this point.
My biggest issue is my wife and kids.
distance might be the safer option. If we think someone is orchestrating our movements.
That's a good point, Haket.
I mean, I'm sure my editor is safe. He's really the only one who visits.
So should we plan our day then tomorrow? What do we think we should do?
I think we should check out this import-export place.
Agree.
I agree.
I think so too. I think that should be first on our list. And we'll see what we find there and then plan our moves accordingly afterwards.
To an extent. If it starts to get... If we see more cultists running around with giant machetes, I might look into a ticket home. But we'll see.
We can get you a machete of your own.
Not the point. Not. My hands are a bit delicate.
Well, Fred and I can watch over you a bit, Haket. We can be like your bodyguards.
Appreciate it. Shall we retire?
I'm good to go. How are you guys? You guys ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to hit that.
Let's get going.
I've already taken care of the bar.
Can I do like a quick look around as we leave to see if anyone might have been paying a little too close attention to us?
Sure, do a... I want to say spot hidden.
Why am I not good at looking at things? No.
Doesn't seem
Too
to.
little. I can't see over anybody. Oh, it was just a thought. She was been a little paranoid, I think, at this point. It's all a bit strange. So she just done a glance around and been like, oh no, all I can see is a bunch of butts because I'm so short. And then continued on.
We're in a speakeasy. Fred feels very comfortable here.
I think I would have been looking around, but I rolled and I also failed.
Okay, yeah. You don't really see anything.
Nope. Oh well, we're fine. Who would
One
stalk us,
person who
right?
would have
What
a
are the
pretty
odds?
good chance.
does not care.
Actually, I rolled even if I was looking. No.
We're a little tipsy. That's fine. That's strong stuff.
Just a tad.
Okay, to the hotel.
All right. You guys get back to your hotel without any issue.
Looking forward to another night in the penthouse.
You guys
Me?
get settled into bed. Is there anything any of you guys would like to do before bed?
I guess if I have multiple locks, like around, like the chain lock and then like the padlock, whatever.
Yeah, I'd say it's a
Door
nice
lock.
hotel. I'd say you have
Yeah, the
like
windows.
at least the door and a chain.
Mhm. Just to make sure. Check my closet for hidden murderers. Check under the bed. Alright,
There are
I'm
no
fine.
monsters in your closet or under the bed.
Cool. She keeps her necklace of river water and goes to bed.
Okay. Anything anyone else would like to do?
No.
No.
I think I'm good.
Okay. The evening goes by without issue. You guys wake up the next morning. You come down for... I'm assuming you'll want breakfast or coffee at least.
On Nettle.
And there, it looks like that day's newspaper has just arrived.
Perfect. Oh,
And you grab one, and right on the front page it says author murdered by brutal killers, body found in Hotel Chelsea.
mm.
Possible connection to Harlem murders by Rebecca Schoenberg.
Wait, so connection to Harlem murders?
It says possible connection to Harlem murders, written by Rebecca Schossenberg.
Schossenberg. Okay.
Author Jackson Elias has been found murdered in his Chelsea hotel room. The killers are reported to have used long knives to butcher their victim.
Ooh, Cthulhu.
Lieutenant Martin Poole of the Murder Squad stated that he is exploring possible connections between this murder and similar slayings in Harlem last year. Local resident Hilton Adams was convicted of the Harlem murders in October last and is awaiting execution in Sing Sing. Lieutenant Poole offered no opinion whether this new murder indicates that Adams had accomplices or is innocent of the earlier crimes.
You said someone named Adams is convicted?
A Hilton Adams is awaiting execution.
I gesture toward the others to the newspaper that I'm reading. It seems like they've already convicted someone. Or at
Wonder-
least questioned on its relation.
Maybe
Convicted
he-
someone in murders that happened last year.
Mhm.
And now
Maybe
this
he's
is
a
the new
part of
one
the
we'll
cult.
use.
Could any
No
of you-
opinion on if he had accomplices or is innocent.
I don't suppose high status people could get us a arranged meeting, a little visit to your. I don't think we have the death penalty in Egypt, do we? I don't know. Probably.
I don't know.
They probably don't even have trials in Egypt at that time.
I mean, there's still a good amount of. Let me see. Death penalty, capital punishment in Egypt. I'm not sure. Anyway, or we can try to go down to the police station. But I feel with someone with a important name could speed that up
We can definitely try.
if we're interested. I mean,
After
we still
she's-
had other things on the agenda.
Just for my own clarification, are you trying to meet with the accused or with the cops?
I would say the accused would be more fun, but that's up to the party.
Yeah, I feel like when
That's
she's
right.
mentioning someone with a name, everyone's looking at Sebastian.
I mean,
You guys both have a pretty high rating, but he holds himself a little bit better.
He's got the family name.
It's got a little pool.
we can certainly make some phone calls to the police and see what kind of response we get.
It's just interesting. Connected to Harlem murders. At the very least, we can try to, or I can try to research that separately. I'm rather good at libraries.
Same. I've written multiple papers and been published several times.
We can also talk to the Rebecca Schausenberg, too.
She did do most of the legwork, it's true.
Mhm.
Is that more
Is it-
important than the import-export, you would think?
Well, if there's a ship at the export, it could be leaving any minute.
That's true.
And it doesn't sound like this guy's going anywhere soon.
How long does it take you to kill people on death row?
It can take years.
Really? I suppose that's kind.
It depends.
He's already been sitting in prison for a year. I think the odds that his execution is today is fairly slim.
It did say in the paper, so you're probably right. And then who was it that wrote on the back of his card to the Emporium?
You recognize that to be Elias's handwriting on the back of that.
Items he might be interested in. Brian Bassart? Was that not on the am I thinking of some other item that had that?
On the Emerson Imports card, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
On the back it said Silas Nguyen.
Okay, so who's Ryan Bassart? Oh, that's the fancy letter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Warren Bassart. That's what
Warren.
confused me. It's
Oh, my
Warren.
bad. I
No,
don't
you're
know why
good.
I heard Ryan. It's my pen.
Yeah, the fancy letter was addressed to a Mr. Carlisle in March of 1919 from Cairo.
Ah, okay. My bad.
And was written by a Warren Bassart.
How many leads? Well, import export.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should go there first. Yeah, I agree with Fred. I think if there's a ship that's that might be taking off and something we might need to know or see, we should go and go there first.
Is he drive outside?
Should be waiting for us. That's what I pay him for.
Shall we?
Yes, we shall.
To import export.
Okay. So you head out and you start heading towards the Hudson River. And you eventually pull up in front of a long bridge. And that you can see there are loading docks at both ends, but the building itself looks like a warehouse piled high with freight. And you can see there's a small set of offices upstairs right at the front.
How shall we play this? Honestly?
What exactly are we trying to get out of here?
Well, our friend here may have taken the knife from the murder scene. And identifying it could help.
Well, if we think that Jackson was through here, we can always attempt to see if they recognize the name.
Yes, the Mr. I wrote it down. Hey, hold on. Damn it, Janet. Just saw it. Oh, Silas, the wing is who we're looking for. Ooh, that looks good. That looks spooky. He needs bat wings.
The head. Or we can. Is anyone good at? Well, I mean, let's check the up front way and see if they recognize him if he's been by here. We have his card, right?
Yes. Do we want to all go in or have? In case one group does poorly, we could have a backup.
Would are either of y'all good at looking or is? Okay, what are people good at?
I'm good at looking around.
I'm a doctor.
I mean,
That's
I've
helpful.
What I'm
researched
best,
a lot in my time,
Same.
I'm best at finding stuff.
and I'm rather good at talking.
Okay,
Is
so
anyone else good at? Anyone else good at talking?
I'm also good at talking,
Well,
and how people are reacting to talking.
well, how about Haket and I go in first and try the upfront method while y'all kind of look around to see what you can find. And if we need to swap teams, then we can. Does that sound good?
Sure, Fred and I can check the outside here around the.
Sure.
Here. What's going on?
See if anything, jumps out at you or you can find your way in anywhere.
We'll back here in about half hour, 40 minutes.
Sounds good.
And if you're not here, we'll come looking for you.
Perfect. Please do not let anyone rip out my intestines.
If they do, we'll get him to shove them back in.
Wonderful.
At least I brought my kit.
I would assume you would.
Forward. Is there
Alright.
an obvious entrance? Or is it
Yeah,
just
you
like
can
warehouse
see
multiple?
No, like there's a warehouse and you can see there's stairs on the front of it that lead up and you can see a couple, like a office building almost, like on the front end of it. And then, big letters, it says Emerson Imports.
Oh. Would you like to take the lead or would you like me to take the lead, Haket?
How about I'm researching objects and you are more of a investor in rare antiques.
Sounds about right.
Very well. They'll go up and knock.
No one answers, but the door's open.
Walk in.
It's an office building.
Walk in.
Do I see anybody inside?
Not at the moment. You do hear some shuffling, kind of just right out of eye line. And you can hear, be with you in 1 moment. You can hear a little bit more
Perfect.
shuffling, and then a tall, muscular, middle-aged man comes out. Dark hair, huge beard, really bushy eyebrows. Very neatly groomed. He comes out and he looks like he's kind of like cleaning his hands off. He has like some sort of rag. Hey, morning. Welcome to Emerson Imports. My name's Arthur Emerson. How can I help y'all?
Wonderful to meet you. I'm Paquette. I'm more of a researcher, and this is Mr. Harkness. He's very interested in foreign artifacts and the like.
Right. What can I do for you folks?
We're more looking into... We're interested in buying a piece from a Mr. Elias. I don't know if you've heard the name.
Jackson Elias?
Yes, sir?
Okay.
Did he have the chance to see you before his unfortunate passing?
Jackson Elias is dead?
Just saw it in the newspaper this morning, I'm afraid. It's quite a shock. We were going to do some business, and he mentioned you as a
Gave us your
dealer of
card,
some
actually.
repute.
Well, it's a shame that he's dead.
Is he actually
Uh,
sad?
My condolences. Go for it.
Ooh, I believe that's pretty good. Yeah, 26 of 42, so not quite half, but almost.
Yeah, he looks surprised and a little sad at finding this out. Doesn't look like he's even, might not have had a chance to check the papers at all this morning. So this is, yeah, it seems like it's a shock to him.
I'm sorry, I have to be the one to tell you.
No, it's fine. I would have heard about it in the paper eventually.
I do hate to bring up business, especially at a time like this, but Jackson was always trying to get the better of me in a deal. And I was wondering if he had any deals going that I could pick up and fulfill his side.
I mean, we met briefly. He wasn't really looking for deals, though. He was checking import connections. Trying to find a connection with Mombasa.
Mombasa was the one in Africa where the expedition went?
It's
Yeah,
one of the places.
Mombasa is one of the locations in Africa. You see, we're the U.S. agent for their for the Mombasan exporter. We're the U.S. connection for it. So anything that comes from West Africa, most of their shipments will come through us. Well, at least theirs will.
Were there any
I-
particular shipments that Mr. Elias was interested in?
More looking for any importers that had connections there than what they were importing. Most of it's basic goods. We get a lot of like cloth and things from there.
He was trying to find someone to import into Mombasa? Or
No, he was
export
trying
from?
to find connections, like importers that connect with Mombasa. He was trying to find a
Okay.
connection between Mombasa and importers through Emerson.
And he
Okay.
successfully found you.
Well, he was checking our records. He
Mm.
was looking into our records for connections there. Man talks a little fast sometimes.
Yes.
But we're the U.S. side for the exporter. Oh, geez, what's his name again? I can never pronounce their stuff. Aja Singh is the Boston. He's one of their exporters, which I mean means he's one of my importers. You know, import export, how that works.
What do you generally take in from them?
We're kind of just an in between. Most of it's textiles. I really just know what's on my import reports. I don't.
Do you have any
Oh, no.
currently waiting to be picked up?
And he kind of shuffles around and he grabs his papers. He goes, "Not at the moment.
Okay.
I don't see anything. I haven't heard nothing. But if I do, it got through here." But yeah, as far as I know, we only have one U.S. account that connects with them.
Okay.
And that's the. Let's see. U.S. account for Singh is the Juju House.
Juju House.
Yep, looks like their manager is a Silas Wayne.
Ah, I see. I've heard the name.
Right.
Are you familiar with Mr. Silas?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is about that man, but something about him makes my skin crawl. I told your friend the same thing. He's just, I'm not sure.
Interesting. Now, if I have a colleague with a interesting artifact from Africa, would you have any experience identifying where it came from?
Oh, I don't know nothing about that. I just get shit in and send shit out.
You're the business.
Pardon the language, ma'am.
If you get another shipment in from Mumbai, would you let us know before it gets picked up?
I mean, I guess I can do that.
I'll make it worth your while.
Make a charm.
Ooh, I'm helping, right? Is that like an advantage thing? I'm helping.
How are you helping with bribery?
You know, I'm
no.
looking.
I will remind you, you do have the option to push a roll, which is just a re-roll, but I cannot guarantee that if it is a failure, there will be good consequences. Because the way push rolls in Call of Cthulhu work, it's not just, oh, you get a re-roll. There are consequences for failures and successes with push rolls.
Like add in how he's Mr. Harkness is a very influential person of the city. He just likes to get ahead on business, you know?
I'll just kind of slide a 5 across the table too.
And he just kind of clipboard he was looking at. He just kind of sets it on top of it. If I get something, where should I call?
I'm staying at the Grandview Hotel.
Pretty sure that's not the name of it, but okay.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
I had Grandview.
New Grand Hotel.
Do I really
New
have
Grand.
New Grand Hotel?
Grand Hotel.
I wrote down Grandview.
We're just gonna continuously get the name of this hotel wrong, and it's gonna
It's
be
grand
fantastic.
some way.
I'm just gonna put New Grand down now.
Yeah, it's the New Grand Hotel at Broadway.
And all our messages are going to go to the wrong place.
But we
That's
haven't met with
correct.
Erica yet.
It's at Broadway and 31st.
Okay, yeah, I think I know one. Well, but here. And he kind of grabs a sheet of paper and he starts kind of scrawling out on it, and he hands you an address. I don't know if he'd been there. I don't know if it'll help y'all at all, but I'm pretty sure Elias wanted to go talk to Mr. Nguyen
For who?
at
Sure.
Fuji's house. Silas Nguyen. You guys were just
Okay.
asking about him.
You're too kind.
Sorry, you-
And
My headset cut out for a second.
But that's where the house is at. Careful, that place kind of makes my skin crawl.
noted. Thank you. I'm sure one of my other colleagues from the research center will be in shortly, and I do appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one. Thanks
You
for
Is
too.
listening.
over my
Listen
shoulder.
report.
Discretion is appreciated.
I'm nothing if not discreet.
And
And he
We
starts to
appreciate
take the 5 and he like sticks it in his coat pocket.
I don't know if we see if anything came of their search or if we see them as we leave.
Go ahead and do spot hidden checks for me, guys, since you're out here.
I
You
must
see
be
it
looking
all.
at the water because I see
Well-
nothing.
My spot hidden is an 80, and I rolled a 2.
Oh, nice.
As impressive as that is, there's a lot of cargo crates. I mean, none of the crates are marked, nothing like that. You wouldn't really know what to look for. They also don't leave them open. It looks like a shipyard.
No luck.
And I got from the conversation that we listened to from Arthur that there's really no ships there currently, right?
Mhm.
What
Uh,
about this luck?
yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything there.
It's not worth it, my dude. You rolled a 5 and it wasn't good enough. You roll a
Oh, no.
1 and you see Cthulhu himself descending.
Well, I don't understand what you're talking about.
I was gonna say, can he roll luck to see if he gets lucky when looking in one of the crates or something?
his
He would
ability
have
was
to
luck.
get into it without being seen in broad daylight.
More luck?
This large Florida man in his Crocs and sweatpants.
Hey,
And
we can be
Hawaiian
stealthy.
t-shirt
These
that
are
just hangs
stealth
open.
shoes. Like, if you have the band forward, it's slippers, and backwards, it's runner. You're fine.
Oh yeah, you do sport mode, no one can detect you.
Exactly.
He can Mr. Magoo him his way into it.
Okay, this has nothing to do about your shoes being stealthy. It has to do with you can't hide in the shadows if it is broad daylight. You do not have the capability of just putting on an invisibility cloak.
Not
Damn.
yet.
You find a +3 short sword. No.
Yeah, you open up the first crate you get to, and it's full of +3 short swords.
Hell yes.
This is where they've been hiding. for
And as we
everything.
see them staring blankly at a large number of crates as we leave, and it's kind of okay.
I was just about to open one.
Actually, I mentioned to him that a colleague of mine would be visiting shortly. with a artifact to know the origins of. He probably won't know anything, but you can always try to show him the. Did you clean the blood off of the machete?
Oh yeah, I should do that. And I just.
Never mind.
That
don't-
particular one actually did not have any blood on it.
Oh,
okay.
then I'm fine.
I mean, honestly, it
There
didn't
were
sound like
3
he was
people,
much.
so
Also, I
Of
didn't
a
even steal the
historian.
murder weapon.
I mean, it's murder weapon adjacent.
Perhaps you can get it appraised, but he doesn't seem like he would actually know much of where it came from.
Yeah, you gather he does not do appraisals. He literally deals with, oh, you're sending
It's
out
the
a big
shipping
shipment. You're bringing in a huge shipment. Cool.
Yes,
And
Mr.
from what you
Silas.
can gather, he's really easy to pay off. So, plausible deniability.
Yes, perhaps we just go to this Juju house.
I'm game.
I
Let's
explained
go.
to them everything we learned from that guy.
Okay.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. And that's where we are.
But do.
All right.
I think traveling through quick space time is probably a bad idea with Cthulhu, but hey.
Yeah, that's fine. We won't go insane.
I don't
does
understand
that?
the reference, so we're fine.
All right. So you get over to the Juju house, and as you get there, you realize it's a African art emporium in Harlem. It's located at 1 Ransom Court, and it's a cluttered alley just off of West 137th Street and east of Lenox Avenue. As you approach, the short alley opens into about a 20-foot square courtyard, and the only doors from the courtyard are those of the Juju house and what looks like a door to a long abandoned pawn shop.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go
Hold on.
look in the window in the pawn shop.
We're
Okay.
in Harlem. Correct.
Correct.
Where the previous murders occurred. That just so happened to coincide with what Elias was looking into.
Correct.
We should be extra careful.
Perhaps I should wait in the car.
Oh, you have your
No, it's easier.
bodyguards.
You look through and it looks empty, Sebastian.
Okay.
Just looks abandoned. It looks like whoever owned it, with the way the economy has gone, has closed up shop.
Right, Shane.
Fortunate.
Yeah, you can see there are rows of like empty glass cabinets and shelves and stuff like that, but
Looks abandoned.
you don't really see any product inside. It's just completely empty.
Oh, should we check out the Juju house?
Mm-hmm.
We really want to go inside. It looks like he moved.
We
Well, the
won't
Juju
let
house is
anything
next
happen
door.
to you, Stubby.
Thank you, Goliath. No.
Okay, so what I got from this was that there was 2 entrances, one's to the pawn shop and one's to the Juju house. Is that correct?
What I understood.
So the
Okay,
alley
so-
leads into this courtyard,
The Juju
Um,
House is abandoned, right?
No, the Juju House is open, and
Oh, my bad.
it's actually an African art emporium.
That's what I thought.
Um,
Okay.
I mixed
Yeah.
that up. My bad.
What's
But
Okay.
the pawn shop is pretty much abandoned. Those are the only two things you can see in this courtyard. Because
Yeah.
it's like at the end of an alleyway, and it opens up into this area.
If you guys want to wait outside, Sebastian and I can go in and talk to Silas, unless we should all stick together.
We were told.
Perhaps we should do teams again.
And you can see there are, a handful of people that walk out, walk in,
Oh, okay.
seemingly.
And
It's open.
Just walk in.
Like-
okay, perhaps we go in pairs, but we don't acknowledge the pairs know each other, just in case one pair pisses him off.
That sounds like a smart plan.
Okay.
And Nose goes. Who goes with me?
Wait.
Mr. Frederick.
I saw the no schemage it without thinking.
We'll go second. You guys go first. We'll follow behind after 2 minutes.
After you.
Okay, so
Okay.
we walk into the Juju House.
Alrighty. You walk in, it seems different than what you guys would be used to. But it looks like almost like a cultural art museum, essentially. Definitely like African oriented as far as the products and the masks or different instruments and things like that they have inside. You can see there's a couple of people wandering around inside, mostly African American folks that live in this area. As you're kind of wandering around and looking at everything, you kind of notice most people only spend about 10-15 minutes inside and then they leave.
We look very out of place.
Kind of. I mean, you get a couple of weird looks, but they don't really bat an eye. It just seems they do have a majority of one demographic that visits.
I told you, Mark, you have to look in all the places to find the best art.
You do notice that, you aren't the only Caucasian individuals in here. There is a smartly dressed gentleman, probably in his mid-20s. Go ahead and do spot hidden checks for me.
It fails.
Okay, to the floor.
Hey.
Did anyone succeed?
Oh,
Nope.
yeah, because we came in only 2 minutes later, so yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a very good spot hidden.
I
Uh,
assume this is going on after you guys have all gone in.
Okay, so
Yeah,
no, I
so-
do not.
Little bit more than 1/4.
Okay. You notice that you can see that he does carry a gun underneath his suit jacket.
Hmm.
But you all see that he's only inside for a few minutes, and as he exits, you can see him tucking something into his inner jacket pocket as he's leaving.
I guess, yeah, you're the only one who saw it.
Oh,
Well, you guys
Yeah.
can see him stuffing something. The spot hidden
Oh.
was more to see that he does have a gun on him.
So since we're in pairs, I'll tell Hiket that he has a gun.
Oh.
But you guys do look what suspiciously does look kind of like a well-stuffed envelope.
Hmm. I see. I see he's one of those mobsters you have. The Al
Possibly.
Capone. Interesting. Hopefully not involved. Can you imagine the cult and the mob? Oh my god, that was ah, why did you do that to me?
Cult and the mob. Bam.
Boom. That was very well timed.
It was.
Mark, would you like to follow them, since they're clearly not?
I think I can listen. My little legs.
We're gonna go follow him, or just me?
Whichever. I'm not very good at that.
Hey, I can and see where he goes.
Yeah, I'm also gonna try to follow him.
Are you all leaving after a just okay?
I'm not.
No,
I
those
just
two-
watched them leave, I
I
guess.
think
So-
one person from each group is following.
Okay, I thought it was one whole group plus you, and I was like, okay.
Kat and I are
must have
back
said that.
as a
No,
team
you're good.
again.
We totally
Um,
don't know each other. Just coming separately, change partners, leave.
Mark's just gonna walk up behind him. How's it going?
Yeah, because I wouldn't have really seen anything, so Fred would have had to tell me or grab me or whatever and
The
tell me
only
that.
thing you would have seen is him stuffing what looked like a fat envelope into his jacket.
If I catch up to you, I'll warn you about the gun. But if you beat me to him, I can't warn you.
Yeah, I'm not trying. If we're following him, I'm not trying to do it close by. I just want to see where he's going, what
Okay,
general direction.
Then
No.
I'd be able to let you know he has a gun.
We were following at a distance.
Okay. So you wait a little bit, because as you remember, there's only one way in and one way out of the Emporium. And so you follow him to the end of the alley, and you see him turn the corner. And how far are you guys wanting to follow him?
All the way home, baby.
I don't know. I think maybe at least a few blocks anyway.
Okay.
This is going to be a new area to us. We don't want to just get ourselves lost.
Yeah, following him is just our
You're
new
never
life.
seen again.
Okay. If you're following him for a few blocks, you kind of see he starts to make his way down through what looks like the local tenements and stuff that happen to be right around this general area. And then off to more of a main drag where you watch him get into a car and drive off more towards like the heart of town and out of Harlem.
And how did the car look? Like just an old, like a beat up one, or kind of fancy?
I'd say like middle class. It looked like a general, like your average vehicle. It wasn't anything like ridiculously expensive or beat up or anything like that. Solid black in color, but it seemed simple. He's well dressed, so you know he doesn't have a beat up car, but he doesn't have like the newest model or anything like elaborate.
And was he driving, or was there somebody waiting for him?
Nope, he just got into the car. It just looks like he parked a few blocks away and walked in. So he didn't have to park, like, in the middle of, like, Harlem streets.
Yeah. Okay.
Peasant.
That was Fred. I don't know if we.
Not everyone can be chauffeured around, alright? Not everyone can have a 99 credit rating.
Should we move back to the Juju house?
Pardon?
Should we make our way back to the Juju house?
Well, I don't see anything else to do.
All right, let's go back.
We get back
came
and the
up
other
with-
two are dead.
Yeah, make
I
death saving
guess-
throws.
I would have made like a little like exclamation like Mr. Harkness, why it has been so long. Fancy
you-
running into each other again.
You too know the best places to look for arts.
I take care of my clients. What can I say? I didn't expect you, someone so influential, to come here yourself.
I find it's better to do things myself sometimes, especially when art is involved.
Mm. I suppose if you wouldn't mind, I accompany you to see the owner of the establishment.
Absolutely not. That's where I was headed. Offers out an arm,
Delicately places.
and we will go look for the.
Can I see if anyone noticed our exchange?
I mean, you're getting weird looks from people just because you're white. And a little bit
Racist.
too well, just a little
guess,
too
you know.
well dressed for this.
Definitely of like more of an olivey, darker.
Yeah, you're still
yeah.
getting weird looks because there's not very many Egyptians in Harlem.
Fair enough. Fair
Um,
enough.
So, excuse me for calling you Caucasian. I apologize. You're make a psychology check.
Oh, okay, I'm decent at that. Nope, 93. Everyone loves us.
Just her or both?
This is more for her because she's asking if people are noticing the exchange. You kind of put together you're more getting the looks you are just because you seem a little too well dressed for Harlem.
Mm.
You kind of realize that the other gentleman that was in here didn't really get the same weird looks that you're getting. But you gather that's probably because they recognize him, and from the exchange or the back end of the exchange you saw, you kind of figure that he's been here a handful of times.
Do we see someone who looks like they work here?
Not at the moment, really. I mean, there's a handful of people like wandering around, but you don't really see anyone that looks like they're working.
You see one you like.
Oh, that statue over there is just charming. I'm gonna point down the way a little bit. How
Okay.
big is this space?
It's not extremely large. I mean, it's a decent sized room. The courtyard was about 20 square feet, so I'd say it's maybe a little bit bigger than that. Maybe twice the size. So, like, it seems cramped, but you also kind of notice that it's an elongated building.
That would look just divine.
Perhaps. Do I see anything looking like the masks or the machete that we found? Similar design or even something that matches?
Do spot hiddens for me.
I don't have good eyes. Okay.
Roll insanity.
No, 52. No.
I mean, it looks like there's a whole like portion that are very like African style weapons and things like spears. like
I wonder.
the like dart blowers, things like that.
Mm.
I don't really see any machete-looking things at the moment.
I wonder if they have the better collection in the back.
Oh, I'm sure they have some things, maybe seasonal or special buyers. So I try to like say it a little louder than maybe someone would. Like I'm not like yelling, but you know what I mean, like where you kind of project a speaking voice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of like lower it again. I don't suppose you see anything that looks quite like what we've seen.
Let's see if my miserable spot check sees anything.
Is yours as bad as mine? Mine's 25.
So is mine, and I rolled a 94.
Oof. Blind. Blind as bat gods in the night.
You don't see anything like you've seen before, no.
That's because I think what we're looking for is hidden in the back. With all the good stuff.
There's
Have
not
the
always
others
a back
returned?
to a store.
There's always a back. Always.
Always a back. I
Always.
say, if we were interested in purchasing something from this fine restaurant, who can we speak with?
And as you're saying that, you kind of see a short, elderly African American gentleman, who's you kind of noticed had been hobbling through the store, but you didn't really pay him mind. Where are you? Like skeletonally thin. The texture of his skin kind of reminds you of a walnut. He has a fringe of thin white hair, and he has a smile on his face, and you can see he's missing a lot of teeth. He wears a bright red shuka, which is a traditional Maasai blanket kind of thing. It wrapped around his body, and he's in a pair of sandals. And he kind of hobbles his way over to you guys. Well, that would be me.
Oh, I say, good man. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm standing. And when he laughs, he has like this weird, like cackly laugh to him. It's a little off-putting, but it's not creepy. He just has this like.
Would your name by chance be Silas?
That's the one. Silas Nguyen.
Just the person I was hoping to speak with. You don't have any other good stuff in the back or something where we could maybe see some of the really nice stuff? Kind of stuff you'd be saving for just the right kind of buyer?
Oh no, Sonny, I don't sell any of that green. I'm sorry. And he kind of laughs again.
None of your art is for sale.
You asked for the good stuff. I don't sell that.
No, we mean the art.
Oh,
More
art, of course. Well, my best art pieces can be out here. They don't sell if you can't see them. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
Well, I had a brief exchange with a acquaintance of mine who was looking for certain items, who was never able to specify before his I'm afraid I lost contact. Mr. Oh shit, what's our friend's name? Elias. Mr. Elias? Have you spoken with anyone of that name?
It rings a bell.
Psychology to see if,
Me too.
or I don't know if it's the correct
Oh,
roll.
that's the gentleman in the paper on the front page, isn't it?
Oh yes, unfortunately, I was going to try to see him. I traveled such a long way, and it seems he's met a most unfortunate end.
It's a shame. It's not the
Mm.
first one.
I have heard that is rather dangerous in some areas, but You wouldn't
From
have
time
happened
to
to
time, but
spoken with him at all about what he was buying, interested in?
I can't recall him ever being here. I
I
don't really leave the shop. I'm sure I would have seen the man.
check that.
Sure.
Yeah, let's see if he's lying to me. Let's look into his eyes. New 50. Wait, no, I think that's still good for me. No, it's not. My psychology is 42. Never mind. I got a 53. I was doing so well.
Rock touched my dice.
A rock touched your dice?
No, Brock.
Rock.
Oh,
his
the cat?
nephew.
Kid.
Children.
That was a 82.
I mean, he seems honest.
Hmm.
Can't recall him ever being in here. He recognizes the name because it's on the front page of today's paper.
Fair enough, fair enough. Now I had a separate colleague. I thought I was going to meet him here before I ran into Mr. Harkness. He had an item he was wishing to get appraised of its origin. Would you be an expert? Am I correct to assume?
Well, it depends on the item.
Oh, a rather large knife of a sort. I'm afraid I'm not too familiar myself.
A knife?
I mean, I don't know a lot about everything, but I know some things. So if it's worth something, or if I know about it, I mean, I can take a peek.
Look over. Have they returned yet from stalking that man?
I will say by now they may be coming back in. Yeah.
Oh, what perfect timing. Mr. Humphrey.
Oh, hello.
Wave them down.
I'm
I'm so glad you were able to meet me. Mr. Salas has been so kind as to offer to look into that artifact you've been holding on to.
Oh, the knife, and I pulled.
And Silas, like, he kind of looks at it, and you see he's surprised that this is what you're referring to as an artifact, because then he just kind of starts cackling to himself like something's amusing. This is your artifact?
She
Is that
tells me
right?
it has some value.
My boy, that's just a knife. It's called a panga.
You know,
My dear
that's what I
lady.
thought. But
It's
she
an
insisted.
African. It is an African style. Oh, what do you folk call it? Machete.
Sounds to me like you got taken advantage of.
Oh gosh, darn it!
How foolish. I do
Fortunately, they're not that
apologize.
uncommon. Well, I suppose around here they are, which I don't blame you. It's probably different for what you're used to seeing.
And is there any particular part of Africa this is usually found, or all over? I'm afraid I haven't seen many in Egypt.
No, you wouldn't find that in Egypt, my dear. And he kind of like he's already short and like super like skeleton like frame and like stuff, and he kind of like leans in and kind of looks at it again. I'd say probably Kenya, somewhere around there.
Did we snag the mask or did we leave it with the
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 cops have the
murderer.
mask.
half? Yeah.
You should have taken it.
I did take a picture with my Polaroid. Oh, and
Strapped.
one more thing. If you could be so kind and I show the picture of the mask.
He kind of stares at it for a second, and you see a little bit of a reaction, and then he just kind of composes himself to like actually take a look at it.
Mm.
Could I roll a psychology on that expression?
Yeah, go for it.
87. Wicked fail.
Ooh. Okay, let me see.
Um,
Oh, 20. Mine was a success.
My psychology's a 10. I rolled a 92.
Mine was barely a success.
yeah, Mark and Frederick. Best you can gather is he seems to be kind of surprised looking at it. Haket, since you succeeded, it was just a regular success, right?
Yeah, it was. I have a 25. I rolled 20.
Okay. You see what you gather to the like best of what like the knowledge you have is like a very small glint of recognition, but then the face just turns to confusion.
Mm.
Well, it's hard to say from just a picture, but craftsmanship ain't very good. Probably handmade. Is that? And he kind of like points to like the red piece that's attached to the mask in the photo. Is that fabric or plastic or what is that? Is that?
It was
part of it?
fabric, right?
Yeah, it was fabric.
Fabric, I believe.
Interesting use. Nice color.
But nothing as to its origin.
Maybe part of some costume.
That's all. Mr. Silas
I don't.
is very important to me. If you could.
I'm doing my best. I know I don't have nothing like that in here. Maybe a freak show or something. I don't.
Freak show.
Can't really say. I'm not sure. Whatever it is, it's definitely creepy.
I know, I mean, I wasn't very into it myself, but my old friend Elias was very into cults and the like all around the world. Are you familiar with any?
I mean, I've heard of them. What's your definition of familiar?
Or if you recognize symbols or certain designs and the like, and where they might have come from.
I mean, I know there's all sorts of religions or something out there, but I don't really get mixed in with all that.
Is he lying to me?
Is he?
I check too.
67 fail.
You're all there listening to the conversation, so if you want to, go for it.
That would be a success.
Hey.
How good of a success, that is another question.
Fail for me.
This is rough, fam.
Psychology, 45. I got a 32. So that's just a regular success.
Okay. So success from Sebastian, fail from Mark. Frederick?
Oh yeah, bad fail. I need to beat a 10.
Okay. And Haket? What was yours again?
Oh, mine was a 67. And mine's
Okay.
like a 45, so I didn't make it.
All right. You get the feeling he might be blowing smoke up your ass or hiding something. But the rest of you, I mean, he's an old man. He, doesn't know everything. He forgets stuff. He's old.
Unfortunate.
Make spot hidden checks for me.
Hoo-hoo. Come on, dice gods.
Oh,
Nope,
this one I'm good at.
66.
I failed.
No, that's a 96. Holy shiza.
I passed.
Okay.
Okay, so spot hidden is 80. I rolled a 9.
You noticed it first, Frederick, but for those of you who did succeed, you are slowly starting to notice the more questions Haket is asking with the mask and cults and things like that. Other heads of patrons that have just kind of been wandering the store and looking at things have stopped and are now watching this interaction.
I'm too short to notice.
What is your demeanor, the ones watching? Like with just interest or like...
It's
You know,
more
Well,
like...
that's-
It's almost like they're waiting to see what happens. It's not necessarily they're interested in the topic, but but you've noticed it didn't start until Haket started pushing questions about the cult.
Okay.
But they're not advancing towards you guys or anything.
Okay. Just gonna keep my eye on things as for now.
Yeah.
Well,
I suppose-
Haket, Silas, it's good to see y'all. I will catch up with y'all later. I'd like to go look around a little bit more.
Of course, don't let me keep you from your business. It was nice to run into you.
You too. I'm gonna kind
If
of
you see
make my
anything, just holler.
I'm gonna make my way back so I can keep a better eye on people.
Okay.
Yes, if I could be more candid with you now that one of my clients is gone. I do have a few very interested in all of the hype around Mr. Elias's unfortunate happenings. So there is more of a market for such things. If you truly don't recognize anything.
I can't say it rings any bells. Sorry, dear. I wish I
I
could.
see.
More. I'm sorry about your friend.
Ow.
Oh, clients is all very sad, but I do appreciate. And you never spoke to him yourself.
No, never seen him.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I believe I'll have a look around as well, and I'll leave.
If you see
Or-
something, holler.
so that those two maybe have a better shot than I do.
And then once you see that she's kind of like dropped the conversation and goes to like leave the conversation, all of the other patrons, those of you who are watching for it, they just go back to what they were doing.
Okay. I'm not gonna try to talk. I'm terrible at that kind of thing.
I don't know if we'd make any more headway than what Haket did.
Well, now that I have
Um,
a refresher on the mask, could I try to see if anything else, or the symbol that was carved into his head, if I see anything, either on the art pieces or maybe scattered around?
Yeah, I would say do spot hidden to like really look at the art.
Come on. 5!
Ooh.
Jesus. Finally, my eyes have opened to the world.
I can see clearly now. You don't see any that look exactly like it, but you do see there's one. It's a smaller painting. That has. It almost looks like a wall of kind of like hieroglyphs or something. And it's just covered in all kinds of different symbols, and you see some that, while it doesn't look exactly like the one on Elias, there are similar ones, but none of them have names or anything. It's just like a collection almost. It's very
Does
well
it-
done, though.
So does it look like one of the pictures that the professor showed me?
Similar style. Like, it doesn't look like the full thing, but it does look like it has, like, just a collection of markings and things on it.
Hmm. Is there like a placard or like a little informational placard on it?
I am trying to find my notes on my phone.
So if I see Haket looking at this picture, I would ask her, Haket, are you finding anything there?
Yes, if you look, don't they look? They're not quite the same, but they look very similar, don't you think?
Yeah.
I point to the symbols on there.
I wonder if Silas has a book on those symbols.
Hmm. He seems very. I don't know if he's messing with me or if he really just doesn't know anything. Kind of, it's like a low murmur. I'm afraid to push him too far.
Well, if we offer to buy the book, he wants to sell his stuff. You never know.
True, if he has something that goes into greater detail.
We could.
The plaque on that one just says, tribes from around the world.
Hmm.
I'm sure if we draw this to Sebastian's attention, he could buy the painting and see if he can get a book to understand what the painting's about. We can make something up.
Good idea. I'll look around. Is Mr. Harkness particularly looking at anything?
You're muted.
Does anything pop out?
Are you looking for anything really in particular? I mean, some of the art styles
Just-
are very different from what you've seen and stuff like that, but
Yeah, no, I'm kind of just trying to match anything that would go with the mask. Since she pulled the picture of the mask out again.
Do a spot hidden.
Nope, that's a complete failure with a 78.
I mean, you see like masks and stuff, but most of them just look like
None of them match
an
the
animal.
style. Mm,
Yeah. Like some of them, like it's like a gentleman and he has like a jackal mask on or things like that.
Okay.
But none of them look like the mask that you guys found on the murderer.
okay. And the
Okay,
pa-
I see him. Go ahead.
Saying the patrons are back to normal, right?
Yep. As
That's
soon
what I
as she stopped, as soon as she didn't like continue asking more questions, they just went back to what they were doing.
Yeah, okay.
I'll motion over to him if I see him just kind of wondering. Mr. Harkness,
Yes.
I believe I found something that strikes your particular fancy.
Oh, yes, please.
Mr. Silas,
You find something you like, dear?
oh yes, could you tell me anything more about this piece? Well, Mr. Harkness is a fan of multicultural pieces.
I am.
Well, that one's multicultural, all right. So a lot of those are different symbols for African tribes. Kind of a way of like a property marker or a last name. It's a way to
Interesting.
show that you were part of that tribe. Now, not all of these are African, but they're close. You've got all over Africa. Some of them are Aborigines. Some of them, my great-granddaddy, are even mine.
Goodness.
That's a whole collection.
There's more to this collection?
No, it's a whole collection.
Oh, okay.
Tribe.
I misunderstood. I thought you meant that there was more pieces.
No,
in
it's
the
like
collection.
there were. It almost looks like if someone took a picture of like part of a monolith, but it's painted and it's just covered in all of these different symbols. But none of them have like designators or markings on the actual painting, and it's just called tribes around the world.
Okay. You know, you're right. I think that this would go in my study quite well. With some of the other African artifacts and paintings that I have in there.
Very
What
accurate.
what would you take for this?
What would you give me for it?
25.
Are you saying 25 cents or $25? This is an important distinction in the 20s.
We're gonna do
How much is
25.
20?
$25 is a shit ton of money, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. For art, I mean,
We'll say $5. I forget how much money how far money went back then.
well, $25 in 1920 is equivalent to $300 today. So
Yes.
for artwork, I feel like that's kind of.
We'll go for $10. That'll be my starting bid is $10.
Okay. So
This
$10
is also-
would be like 100, like 120.
144.
You guys pulling out the calculators. Look at you.
Oh, we gotta do time math.
Math is for blockers.
Did you do 12?
11.
Make a charm?
That would be a 6.
Ooh. Charm this old creepy man.
You got yourself a deal, Sonny.
Wonderful.
Exciting. Pull out a wallet, flip through some ones.
And he'll take it, and it just kind of gets like tucked onto like the inside of his like robe wrap. I forget what the actual name is, even though I said it earlier.
Now, I
It
don't
just kind of gets
suppose
tucked inside.
you have anything that goes over the symbols' meanings and or what they attach to, just as a extra for curious onlookers.
Afraid I never put anything like that together. I'll be honest, you folk aren't my normal customer type.
Well, most people are too prudish and don't know how to find and appreciate art. Too close-minded, I say.
Fair enough. I mean, I might have something, but it's not. I don't think it's in English.
I'm not English is fine. Can we get that and this packed up and packed well for us to take with us?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Let me try and find it. And he's gonna just kind of like yell into the back, like he hobbles about halfway away from you and yells into the back, and
There is a
eventually
back.
someone comes out and they.
There's always a back.
It's called the office.
The secret art storage room.
And excuse me, Silas, please don't forget the Providence.
The Providence?
Yep.
Providence is the like basically think of Providence as the chain of title for the painting.
Fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, and
It
he has
verifies-
someone come out and
Like the authenticity and where it comes from, things like that.
Ooh.
he has someone come out and they wrap that all up for you, and it's all bound and tied in some like butcher paper and twine. And they hand it to you.
And you were able to find the papers that you said went with it as well.
Yep, it's all wrapped up in there.
Even though it's in a foreign language, it's totally acceptable. Like me, a good puzzle.
It has been an absolute delight, Mr. Silas.
Thanks for visiting.
Thank you for finding this wonderful piece.
I do my best.
I guess both of us are moseying out. I don't know if the two of you were doing anything cool while we were all distracted.
We're looking around, but my spot checks are just terrible.
We suck at rolling tonight.
I've had some good ones. This isn't a bad night for me so far.
All right. Well, as you guys leave the Juju House Art Emporium, it is very late, later than I wanted to go, so I think we are going to call it here. You can pick up your investigations another time.
Hell yeah, people with expendable money.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah, sorry, my back has been killing me, so.
No, you're good.
Oh, you're fine.
Well, hopefully next week I have all my computer parts and we no more crashing on this. This is just ridiculous.
Fingers crossed. I hope that gets better
Yep.
for you.
I got the CPU like a day after I ordered it, but nothing else has shown up yet. So
Oh, man.
I still have a CPU sitting on a shelf.
All right.
that's you, Cody.
Well, thank you
Goodbye,
all so much
everybody.
for sticking in there with us.
Oh, I'm
I know it was a bit of a late night. We appreciate you. And we hope you have enjoyed this episode of Masks of Fate. And we will see you next time.
have a good night.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Love you.